Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Star Trek Club. It is meeting 10 already. I am Captain Logan. Look, it's Brandon Grimm.
Hello, everybody.
And Adam Meredith.
Hello.
Today, we are going to count down our top 5 favorite Voyager episodes. We did our 6 through 10 last week. A little bit later, we're going to do our top 5. But before that happens, we're going to spin the wheel and find out what the first episode we're watching this evening live with you guys is going to be. So let's go ahead without further ado and go ahead and do that so that everybody has ample time to pull up said episode. As always, we're going to try to watch 2 tonight if we have enough time. That didn't work out last week because we had some technical issues. But as long as you guys can hear Adam, I think we're in good shape, and you should be able to. So I'm going to go ahead and throw up the wheel. Every episode that you guys have asked for, as far as I understand it, is on the wheel now for sure. If there is anything that we're missing, please send me a message and let me know about it. I put up a post about this on social media, so you can just respond to either of those posts, either on YouTube or on Facebook. Welcome. If you're watching live, welcome after the fact. If you're doing that, let's find out right now, everybody, what the first episode we're going to be subjected to this evening is going to be. Here we go.
Good episode.
I hope it's great
episode.
Or horrifying, but I don't think there's anything really horrifying left on the board right now, unless you just really hate Spock's brain. Oh, no, that's true. That is horrifying. That is really unfortunate. All right, well, here we go. Let's find out. And we're watching Frame of Mind, Sarah's favorite Riker episode.
I like that.
So Sarah will be excited.
On my top 10 list, I think.
I think that was on your list, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got another top 10 episode, and of course, not a Voyager episode, because we can't do that
Voyager.
since we're doing a Voyager meeting. Last week we got one Voyager, so we'll see if we wind up with another one.
Did.
But Voyager deserves to be shafted for what happened at Deep Space Nine that first week, so... All right, folks, we're going to go ahead right now and go into Is It Bigger Than a Standard Replicator? And this time, Brandon and I are going to play, and Adam is going to be giving. Adam hopefully has not come up with a super impossible obscure thing, or we probably will, in fact, be watching one episode. Adam, did you think of something cool? Did you get something?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to. I don't think it's too difficult. I think Brandon could probably guess this.
Okay, cool. That should be your litmus test.
That's the metric we're going off here.
Right. So, if you are watching live right now, once again, thanks for being here. I see John Ty. I see T-Edge1. I see Araraxid. I don't really know how to say your name.
We should add that.
There's Day Ghost.
Question.
Hello, Day Ghost. What's that?
Can Brandon guess?
We should add that to our repertoire of questions. Could Brandon guess?
What is the likelihood that Brandon will go? Yes or no question?
The thing is, I'm always wondering that when we get into the game. So, I've considered asking that on occasion, but
you actually have asked me that before. Like, do you think I know this? Actually,
yes,
no, Brandon. And he's like, well, fine, I'll quit then. Why am I even here? If you're watching live, you guys as a group will get a turn as we go around. Well. So Adam is gonna get but you also just haven't watched enough Star Trek.
Yeah,
sometimes we'll do things that you just don't know.
Star Trek. I just haven't watched it all.
Anyway, Adam is Brandon's gonna go first, and then I'll go, and then we'll give the audience a turn if somebody has a question, and I'll give you guys about 10 seconds to see if anything pops up. Yes or no questions. We're gonna see if we can get this in just a few. We don't just do 20, but hopefully it doesn't take too many. So here we go. Brandon, why don't you ask first? Adam is thinking of something that has to do with Star Trek. Go ahead.
Adam-y little brain.
Right.
Is it in more than one series?
Yes.
Is it alive?
No.
Okay, so it's not alive. It's in more than one series. Real quick, while we're waiting for these guys, let me turn you up for the audience a little bit.
Adam gets turned up.
And then just, no, you're fine. I just noticed that my sliders were off, so yeah. Try to speak up a little bit louder if at all possible, but not a big deal. Okay, so, Tom just put in Minefield from Enterprise. He's almost always putting in Voyagers, so $5 super chat. Thanks a bunch, Tom. Appreciate that. And he also is asking a question, and would you help remind me to get back to his question when we're finished with Standard Replicator?
Yes.
Thanks very much. But let me go ahead and add that to the board while I'm thinking of it. And then you guys in the comments have a turn if you want to ask something. We know it's alive, and we know that it is in, you say series or
more than one series?
More than one series, is what we know. Okay.
Yes.
If the chat has nothing, I have my next question.
Minefield. Well, that's great. Just give me a second. Jason wants to know if it kills people.
I mean, I suppose if you weren't careful with it, it could. But no, it normally does not kill people.
Okay, so we probably don't see this actually killing people on screen, Jason. Okay, Brandon, what is your next question, sir?
In the movie series?
No.
Okay.
Would you consider it technology?
Yes.
Okay, it is technology, and we'll wait 10 seconds for the audience and see if somebody else has a question. It's technology that probably doesn't kill people in more than one series.
I suppose if your communicator badge explodes, it might kill you, but...
And we'll go ahead and jump back to Brandon now.
Is it bigger than Worf?
Yes.
Is one of the series that it's in TNG?
Yes.
Okay. The audience is not participating. Okay, go ahead, Brandon. Oh, wait a minute. Tom wants to know if it's sentient.
No.
Brandon.
Is it in DS9?
Yes.
Is this a solely 24th century invention?
We only see it in the 24th,
In the 24th century. Okay. No cinematographic. I'm sure it's not a treasure chest.
A treasure. It's that box that Laksawa Troy.
Yeah, that's what I was
They give
thinking.
Deanna with the face.
Sure, RR. Happy to help, buddy. He just left a $5 super chat and just said thanks for helping him relax. So we're happy to do that for you, man. And I hope you're having a good time. Well, I guess we go back to Brandon.
Yes.
Let's see if we can narrow this down a little better. We know it's 24th century.
Does main cast ever use it?
Yes.
Is it unique?
No.
I'm going to assume it's not a unique thing, but I thought I would make sure of that. Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
Is it a room on a starship?
No.
Is it something that would fit in a shuttlecraft?
A big shuttlecraft, maybe.
I think a big. Okay,
I
so
don't know.
we are figuring out size pretty well here. Yeah, that helps. Cinematographic wants to know if it's a cinematographic. These are very specific guesses. Try to help us narrow it down. He says, is it a prototype cloaking device and/or prototype emotion chip?
That's
two different questions. Yeah, is it a cloaking device?
No.
It's not a cloaking device. Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
Do we see it in Voyager?
No.
That was also Tom's next question. So we see it in TNG and DS9, but not Voyager. Is it Federation in origin?
No.
It's not Federation in origin. That makes sense. That tracks with why it wouldn't be in Voyager anywhere. Go ahead, Brandon.
Do we see it in Enterprise?
No. Like I said, we only see it in the 24th century.
Yeah, that question doesn't help us a whole lot. There.
Well, I forgot that one.
Is it on a starship?
It is not.
It is not on a starship. Okay.
Is it on a planet?
Yes.
See if I can get there before Brandon gets there, because I think I may have it. Do you have a guess, Brandon?
Not
Brandon doesn't have a guess. Okay. Is it stationary?
Yes, it's stationary.
Is it the Iconian Gateway?
It's the Iconian Gateway.
Yes!
Oh, man.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you got me there. So once we figured out that it's not on a starship, and something Brandon said a minute, I can't remember what it was, but something Brandon asked kind of got me there. And then I started thinking, okay, so like the shuttle question gets interesting because it's like, how big is that thing really?
Right.
And then I started thinking, well, it's not Voyager, it's only in TNG and DS9. We never asked more than one episode inside of a series. And so it's actually only in 2 episodes total.
And plus it's like built into a room, so I don't really know like how many components there are, so I don't really...
Yeah, it's hard to say if that entire room is necessary. Yeah, could you carry it around? Yeah. Hard to say.
You could carry a gateway with you. It just shuffles through things.
Adam, what was the name of that episode? I always forget that.
I can never remember either.
Yeah, somebody was asking. I just don't remember. Tom wanted to know. I'd have to go back
I
and
can
look.
remember.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and go on now to our top 5 favorite Voyager episodes. You guys feel free to write some of yours down in the comments there. And the first thing I want to do is read some of Sarah's Sarah's bottom 5, 6 through 10, because she didn't have hers to me last week in time. So I will go ahead and read hers, and then I'll put her in the rotation for the last 5. So Sarah's are really interesting. A lot of hers made my runners-up, but not my main list. So her number 10 is Voyager Conspiracy, which you and I actually watched a few months ago.
We did watch that one. Did we watch that as part of the group, or was that just...
No, that was just me and you. That
it?
was my first pick, I think, for when you and I were trying to stump each other.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where, like, I would pick an episode, and
Yes,
Adam would try to
those.
guess it before the teaser was over, and I would do the same thing. And he would do the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's a fun one. I wouldn't have... I don't think that even made my runners-up, just because I think it's a little clunky and a little lazy, but it's a fun episode.
Yeah, it's a fun episode.
I still don't understand how Seven ends up getting in her head that somehow both of those conspiracies are happening simultaneously. That's the big thing I cannot figure out with that.
Right.
Number 9 is Waking Moments.
What is Waking Moments?
Oh, you don't
I
remember Waking
remember
Moments?
this.
That's when everybody's dreaming and they're being attacked in their dreams by that species that mostly lives in their dreams.
Oh, is that the one
And
with the waking
Chakotay's
dreams
got
and
a
the
no
ear
on his
thing?
on his
Yeah, or
on his
moon
hand,
thing,
yeah.
it's on hand.
When he
That's
sees
what
the
it is,
moon, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That one
that's a
always
good
stuck with me.
That
I
guy's
think
creepy when you see him like on the view screen and he like walks up, you know.
I was really surprised that she picked that. Like, it's okay. It's one that I like more, that I've liked less every time I've seen it. Like, I keep kind of poking holes in it, but it's one that it did stick with me, certainly. Latent Image is one of Sarah's absolute favorite episodes. We've already watched that in this club, I think. And then 7 was Twisted.
Twisted.
Remember Twisted?
That's a crazy one.
Because, of course, Voyager would be the show that would have both Twisted and Shattered.
Yes, everything's going crazy with that shit.
And her number 6 is Death Wish.
Oh, Death Wish! I forgot.
I forgot about that one too.
Oh my god, I could
Death
have
Wish is
included that on
brilliant.
my list. This is a year of hell.
That's gonna be a runner-up then.
Darn it!
Oh, I can't believe neither of you guys thought of Death Wish.
I totally forgot.
That's amazing. So for anybody that doesn't know, that is Q's first appearance in Voyager with the Q who wants to commit suicide and goes on trial to decide whether or not he'll be allowed to do that. It's fascinating. It's got a wonderful, really kind of bittersweet ending. And it's almost perfect. For Voyager, that is a nigh perfect episode. I do believe. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our number 5s. With Brandon again. What's your number 5?
Already been mentioned once today, but Shattered.
Shattered. I love Shattered. And that is on my runners-up. I thought about it. And I think,
I
did you
would've-
put it on
yeah.
there, or did you almost put it on there?
I almost did too.
I think they did a really great job with showing the with showing the ship in its predicament in that episode. It really they just got the continuity right across so many levels in a weird, like, one episode way.
What's fun? Well, first of all, it's one of Chakotay's only memorable episodes, so it immediately feels like a better episode than it probably is, just because Chakotay gets to like do stuff in that, and he's a lot of fun in it, and you can tell that Beltran like actually wants to be there, which is kind of unusual for Beltran because he gets the shaft so much. Yeah, and it was fun to have an episode in 7 that kind of went back through the history of that show.
The whole show, exactly.
Because it should have been more serialized than it was, and especially in that season. So, finally doing a thing that reminded you of like all of the, actually kind of interesting things that happened in that show was nice. And like Brandon said, the continuity there is really good. It brings back Seska, who you didn't really expect to ever see again, and that actress does not miss a beat. It's like she never left.
It was almost kind of a weird clip show if you think about it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, but it's great. And it's also weird that Setsuka's best episodes are episodes where she's not actually
She's not really there.
really there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she is in that more than she is in the holodeck episode.
Yeah.
But it's still like Seska back in time, not like
Right. It's not like the Seska that we have.
They found two really cool ways to bring her back without actually resurrecting the character, which I respect immensely. I think they learned a lot from Sela with Seska. It's like, if you're really gonna, bring a character back, here's a more like believable, plausible way to do it, and they did it like one-off instead of like a really silly, kind of background conspiracy thing that feels like it was, fan fiction. Yeah, I very nearly put Shattered on my list, but I ended up not doing it. Adam, what is your number 5?
Number 5, I did Tinker Tenor Dr. Spy.
It's a really funny episode. Yeah.
I don't know, I actually like that one.
The hierarchy approves.
And the photonic cannon.
Photonic cannon. Come back to that every once in a while in club.
Yes, Brian and I were talking about this last week. We have, like, photonic weapons before the photonic cannon comes up, which is silly because the photonic cannon sounds fake. But so did the real weapons that were called photonic things before that.
Yeah. I don't know, what's the difference between that and a photon torpedo? Does it just shoot a bunch of torpedoes at once?
See, I think a
like
photonic cannon is like a laser light burst. Honestly, it's like a cannonball of photons.
I guess, but you know what completely blows that theory out of the water?
What's that?
The fact that Enterprise already had photonic weapons in 22nd century. So they would go, like, anything that they hadn't quite perfected yet, they would, like, slightly tweak the name of it. So instead of phasers, we had phase pistols. So I guess they phase, but they're not, like, good enough to be called phasers yet. Well, they did the same thing with torpedoes, Brandon. In Season 4, they finally got photonic torpedoes.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay,
So they were... Yeah.
I will at some point look up the definition
And what are the
Well, whatever it ends up being, even if it's consistent, I guarantee you they don't know. I'm sorry, what, Adam?
What was the thing they used before the cannons that they used on Enterprise? What were they called?
Well, they or were they using that all the way through? Was it because I don't think it was photonic torpedoes.
They added photonic torpedoes.
That's what I thought.
Like,
what was
that,
it?
But
was it just phase cannons? It was phase cannons.
Phase cannons.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was phase cannons. Yeah.
Phase cannons.
Anyway, I don't know how many more times we can say phase cannons
We're
polarizing the hull plating. I don't know why that's what we decided to talk about with Tinker Tenor Dr. Spy. But yeah, that's it's got one of the most ludicrous teasers.
Yes.
With that really silly opera bit. And Tuvok heading into Ponfar, like, while he's just sitting in a concert hall. Yeah, not even a concert hall. I think they're just in the mess hall. Anyway. Yeah, that's a fan favorite. A lot of people love that. Yeah. Brandon, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is...
Oh, wait, I gotta do Sarah's first. Was I doing Sarah's first?
Yeah, do Sarah's.
I think I was, yeah, okay. Sarah's number 4... Oh, sorry.
5.
Sarah's 5 actually is Macrochasm, which is on my What-er-Up list. I love Macrochasm.
I think I've only ever seen that twice.
Macrochasm is like the Predator if Janeway was in the Predator.
Right.
Like, it's awesome. It's Janeway as an action hero where she's got to like...
It's Janeway as Ripley, basically.
It kind of like Ripley,
Yeah.
and she's got to take like half her uniform off, and she's like sweating the whole time, and it's great.
She's got this big,
it's a lot of fun.
Gun.
Yeah, and she... By the way, I want to complain for a minute about phaser rifles. Mm-hmm. I don't understand phaser rifles. Like what is making it bigger do? Like when you have a hand weapon that can disintegrate a truck, which in TOS and even in more contemporary shows with Voyager, we do that kind of thing with smaller phaser weapons. Why do you need a giant... Well, I know the reason. It's because it looks all badass and stuff, and it's because it's Star Trek trying to compete with action movies. Right. So we did that in First Contact, but we already had... COS had a phaser rifle. I don't know what they were supposed to do.
I don't know either. And then like in like the Omega Glory, that guy's like... all Zap Brannigan, he's like, they sent wave after wave of people at us or whatever. We killed them all with our little...
Is it just
using like the little Type 1 phaser that's that big or whatever?
But you made me think this, like, whenever we shoot them, we act like it's like more firepower somehow. But the only thing I can think of that would make it that would make you want a larger one is just if your like energy cartridges could be a lot bigger so you could shoot a lot longer. That's the only reason. But they always treat it like
phaser.
Yeah, well, exactly. We never run out of power with them. Like, you've never seen that happen, or at least I don't think so.
Them to kill people.
Yeah,
too.
but that's different. And you can overload a phaser rifle too, I think. But like, but a phaser rifle is just a big gun that does the same thing that the little guns do. As
why did
far as I can tell,
they had their own unique looking phaser rifles, and then halfway through the show, they got the first contact phaser rifles, where did they just have those on the ship the whole time and never use them? They just
Indiana Tracker says the rifles always look like they shot out mini torpedoes. Yeah, and that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And Mr. Roboto says they just have more power output. Yeah, but we never see that demonstrated. Like, they just shoot things just like a phaser does.
Right.
Anyway, that was just a little side tangent. Brandon, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Scorpion.
Scorpion's good.
Definitely a great episode, introduction of 7 of 9, and she's as Borg as can be, right? Just I like the interplay between her character coming on the scene and Janeway and what they have to do and how they basically have to accomplish their task in that. It's kind of it's just intense. And
the thing everybody forgets about with Scorpion is that she's not introduced until the second part. And it's interesting that actually kind of sets Voyager apart from TNG because you needed Scorpion just like you needed Best of Both Worlds for anybody, or for people to continue to care and for that show to stay on the air. But it wasn't like we introduced 7 of 9 and suddenly people flocked to that show. It was the advertising between the seasons that got people watching the second part of Scorpion. I think a lot of people at the time watched the second part of Scorpion and didn't see part 1. Ooh. Because the advertising was so real through that summer. Like, I don't know if you guys remember how that was everywhere and just the amount of money they spent on that ad campaign, but it was ridiculous.
I remember it being in, like, the newspaper and stuff, and my dad was like, look, there's a new Borg lady on Voyager or whatever.
I made a big deal out of it. And so, like, it was a really good cliffhanger, and people watching would have, of course, already been comparing it to Best of Both Worlds and would have been excited about seeing where it went, and if somehow they would like move forward with an alliance with the Borg. Of course they weren't going to do that, but everybody through the entire run of that show, I think all the way to the end, was hoping for it to get more serialized and more involved, especially because then season 4 is the most serialized season of that show, and we were doing a lot more continuity stuff, and we would have sort of pseudo two-parters that weren't actually like Hunters and Prey, where you'd introduce something in an episode and then not fully pay it off until the next episode, but they're still separate episodes. They were starting to take some cues from DS9.
They actually introduced the Hirogen just randomly in Message in a Bottle.
Yes, just out of nowhere, and then they start mattering after that.
They added them after that, but they.
No, that's true. Because they kept fighting with that damn array forever.
Yeah.
You remember that? Like, even when they were pretty far away from it, they were still trying to use it to get messages from the Alpha Quadrant. Yeah. But I think Scorpion is also the best Janeway Chakotay stuff. They've got a real argument in that episode, and you can see both sides to it. Chakotay wanting to go ahead and just stop the mission, basically, and maybe think about settling down somewhere because they can't go through Borg space without having to compromise their safety and potentially their morality, and Janeway, of course, is not having that. And then you get that really great argument when she wakes up from her coma, because Janeway's got to get crazy and get herself almost killed, like she always does. It's really easy for that episode in Year of Hell to kind of run together in my brain, because she makes all the same mistakes in Year of Hell that she makes in Scorpion, and it's only like a few episodes later. But anyway, I don't know. I could just sit here and review Scorpion, but Scorpion's brilliant. And Scorpion is one of those rare episodes, Adam, where they let somebody write like real music for it that's memorable and sticks with you. Yeah. Dun 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 dun.
That's a good one.
I can't believe that came to you just like that. That's great. What is your number 4,
That's
Adam?
the only memorable one. My number 4 is Course Oblivion, which we just watched the other day.
We did, yeah. We don't have to say a whole lot more about that. We just did a whole commentary on that. Yeah. But I still think that episode's brilliant. And it's one of the better, I will say this, it's one of the better follow-up episodes. Sarah and I just watched Demon the other day, and that episode is so much better if you've just watched Demon recently, although it also kind of hurts it a tad just because I think they had to retcon just a little bit to even make that. I still don't get why they left the planet. It's like they're compelled to like stay on this planet, like Tom, the duplicate Tom and Harry are compelled to leave the ship and go to the planet, but then you get all these life forms that think that they're the Voyager crew that leave it.
Mm-hmm.
So
how did they get the ship too? Because you see them all the crew there at the end, but you don't see any copy of Voyager.
I guess they just didn't pan the camera over to show the ship, Adam.
So if I think we can explain, I think that there's a built-in explanation for the ship, which we don't know if the biomimetic, gel of this planet actually builds the ship, but we can assume at some point, because Voyager was started to get sucked down into it. We know that it had its print. The gel had the print of the ship, so maybe it could have. But with the thing about Tom and Harry, in the first episode, it's mentioned, that basically this gel is getting its eyes for the first time and it's able to see around. But what they explain in the second episode is they think inside the episode, the crew comes to the conclusion that they think the likelihood is that the memory engrams of the cloned people started to take over more than remembering they were from the planet, and that's why they left the planet. They kind of say that in the episode.
No, I know that. I'm just saying it's sort of retconny from what actually happens in Demon. If you go back to Demon, that doesn't really track with that, because the exact opposite happens, where Paris and Kim are remade as exactly Paris and Kim, and then very quickly they go, oh god, we just want to be on this planet. And I don't know why being on that planet, when they're just compelled to stay there because that's what they're made of, they would suddenly at some point forget who they are the other way. So it's just an easy excuse, but you just explained the retcon, but it's a retcon, or at least I think it is.
All right.
And it's obviously the ship is obviously the biomimetic stuff because it falls apart.
It falls apart too, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I guess they just don't pan over to it, or maybe it grows at like maybe the ship,
after.
but it doesn't make any sense that it would grow after because we saw how that stuff works. Like it copies itself from a thing that is like with B'Elanna's finger, like it just copies it right away. I don't know why it would wait to then build a ship. But
right?
Whatever.
True.
Mr. Roboto leaves a $2 super chat and is still arguing with us about the phaser rifle thing. He says rifles trump phasers, bazookas trump rifles, etc. Yeah, no, I get that in real life. But what I'm saying is I don't see what the difference is in what the rifles do, is all I'm saying. Yeah.
There's a Reddit thread on it, apparently.
Well, sure, I'm sure there is. I mean, people argue about all kinds of stuff. Am I supposed to be surprised that there's a Reddit thread about this?
No, I'm just saying if you want to look up the answer later, because I will be.
The answer? So wait, Reddit is the answer?
Well,
just because people are talking about it, it means that's the be all.
Maybe you can find the answer in there. It might be
the answer to what?
Why phaser rifle and what's supposedly the difference?
What's the matter, Adam?
One moment, I'll be right back. Sorry,
there's squirrels.
Are you still having squirrel issues?
I'm still here.
But he's not still here. We just lost a member of Star Trek Club.
Yeah, well,
he phased out.
Hopefully he's able to come back here in a second.
Sorry, I'm back.
Did
what
squirrels
happened?
attack
I don't know
you?
what that was. I don't know if that was a hawk or what. That just flew right in front of mine. What that was?
Is it the birds?
Yeah.
Are you experiencing Hitchcock's The Birds right now? Okay, is it my 4? I think it's my turn for number 4. My 4 is Death Wish. I did not forget Death Wish. Because Death Wish is amazing for all the reasons I said earlier, but we'll go ahead and keep rolling. Except to say, I think I've said this before, Quinn should have stayed on the ship. I mean, I love that ending.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, bittersweet. Like I said, it's a 9 perfect episode. But for the sake of the rest of the show, I really wish he'd been able to stick around. And he would have been almost like 7 of 9 before 7 of 9, except it's not like he would have had to spend the whole show trying to gain his humanity. He would have just been like a being of a species that got taken out of that and had all this knowledge that he could have brought to the table as Voyager was trying to get home. But that guy like discovering a new like zeal for life because he wanted to die like through another few seasons could have been really, really cool. But the way it's handled, if it has to be one episode, is really solid. Okay, we now go to my wife's number 4, and Sarah said scientific method.
Scientific method. Was
Do you
that the
remember
one we just
Scientific
watched?
Method? No.
That's the one where the aliens are invisible on the ship, where they're like drilling into Janeway's skull.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking. I was trying to
treating
remember the name
everybody
of
as
that
like
one.
lab
too.
animals.
That's in my
That's a creepy
runner-ups.
one.
It's really good. It feels although with that pick, I'm really surprised that Sarah didn't have more like horror-y episodes of TNG, like Night Terrors, because
Night
that's a
Terrors.
very like Night
Quicks.
Terrors-y kind of. No, that's different.
That's not that one.
That's not that one.
Which one's Night Terrors?
Or is that Night Terror? No, I don't think that's Night Terrors.
Is Night Terrors the one with Troy?
Well, those
Who
both
are-
have
yeah.
Troy. Yeah.
Who are you?
Okay.
Yeah, but that's that. Yeah.
Okay.
The one you're talking about,
was
I forget the name of it right
confusing
off.
them.
But anyway.
That's Schisms. Is the
Yeah,
place.
Schisms, right?
Never mind.
Schisms.
Anyway,
is a
you
good
think
one.
everything's Schisms because we always talk about that. And you think anything that reminds you of Schisms must be Schisms. Brandon, there are 178 episodes of that show. Okay,
Come on. I've seen them all.
number 3. Brandon, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Year of Hell. I really
You're
like
right.
Anorax.
And you put it all the way to 3?
You're right.
Wow.
I really dig that. If it comes on, I'm watching it, basically. I dig Anorax. I think it's an interesting principle, even if I don't really truly care for the ending. But
I think you love the ending. I really do.
I mean, I think it.
I think you only complain about the ending because other people complain about the ending.
No,
you put
I
that high on your list, and you're trying to be all apologetic about. Well, if it's on, I'm watching it. Like that's not what you would be like.
No. That's why, because it's that high on my list. If it's on, I'm watching it.
Yeah, I
Like,
get that.
know.
You would not have said that sentence if either of the other of the others of us had that on our list. That is
What?
like a really apologetic sounding sort of thing to say about a thing.
No,
We're
no,
like,
no,
well,
no.
if it's
Like,
on, I'm watching
No,
it.
I have to watch. If it's on, I'm going to be watching it. Like
Oh,
I love
sure.
that episode. No, so
Because he still lives in like 1999, where you just watched things when they were on TV. Hey Brandon, there's like on-demand video now. You know,
Yes,
you
Brandon.
just bring up a
When's
thing
the-
when you want to watch
When's the
it.
last time Voyager was in syndication?
Seriously.
I don't know. I'm just saying, if I find it, I'll watch it. Like if it shows up somewhere, or if there's a clip of it, I'm watching the clip. I think it was. I don't think it was right for them to go back all the way to like before any of the problems had occurred. At the very end of the episode, I mean, I realized that everything was, kind of back, but I think something should have still been just a little bit out of place.
Seriously.
And that might have been the thing that ultimately caused the problems in the first place.
It would have been great if that affected anything moving forward.
Yes.
I mean, it really ought to have, even if everybody was going to not remember it at the end. No, it's just really disappointing because that was supposed to be like actually a season-long arc, and I'm not saying that like don't compromise if you can't do that because it is a good premise and. I don't know. I guess when you go back to that now, you I feel kind of duped where it's like, I should have known while I was watching this because it takes place over a full year that when I get to the end of this, it's not going to count anymore. Because like a Star Trek show that's not DS9 is not going to take like that kind of a risk where they would shoot ahead an entire year. Like these shows are always in real time, despite how slowly how quickly children age.
right.
Right.
But yeah, no,
I remember when I was a kid.
It sucks because
I liked that it ended like that because I was like, this is depressing.
Well, that's true. You didn't want like a whole show like that, but I did. I don't know, and it would have been really cool for it to happen right then, like 7 of 9's on the ship for just a few episodes to kind of get acclimated to the status quo we're used to, and then she's like there when we need her the most. Like that would have been great.
Right.
I don't know. It's just disappointing because of all the missed opportunities, but like.
Right.
It's still on my runner-ups just because it's so good till you get to that part.
Now that you say that, with 7 of 9's perception of time, it might have been interesting had she noticed like something a la like Guinan.
Yeah, and she would have been the one maybe to notice something.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Right.
The tingling in her ocular implant or something.
You know, or quit if we hadn't killed him. Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. What do you think the Borg Queen would have been like in TOS? I'm going to say a female doomsday machine.
Yeah.
Oh, what if Quinn had actually...
I mean, the doomsday machine doesn't have, like, you know, gender. So is it just a doomsday machine with like a big bow on top of it? It's a female doomsday machine.
Did you go back to that first question you asked me to remind you about? I'm remembering it now.
But I said when we're finished with all them.
Oh,
I just threw that out real fast because I didn't want those to stack up too much. And
yes,
we don't have to actually spend any time on it. But there was a question earlier that we actually have to spend some time on.
What if Quinn had made an allusion to all the different timelines that didn't happen? To the Voyager crew, like, oh, this happened, but then it got reversed.
Yeah, like he would know.
It.
Well, yes, but the problem is the majority of that happens after Death Wish, because Death Wish is middle of season 3.
Oh, yeah.
Like Janeway doesn't start mucking around with time until after that. Janeway doesn't get that reputation for constantly screwing with Temporal Prime Directive until well after that,
well,
or the
she's
next
gotta be
season
like some
anyway.
sort of temporal war criminal or something.
Yeah, well, she is. I mean, that's kind of talked about.
Time's up, Brandon.
Time's up. Okay. Well, I guess Kirk's talked about like a temporal war criminal. She should have also been in that conversation in DS9, but I don't think as much of that had happened yet. And I guess they wouldn't have known about it.
They wouldn't have known, right?
Yeah, that's true. I guess they didn't talk about it like that, Brandon. But the 29th Century does.
Yes.
Time Fleet does talk about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Braxton blames her for all of his mental problems.
Because he always has to fix her stuff.
What's your number 3, Adam?
Number 3 is Message in a Bottle.
I just can't hear that title without thinking of the police. Yeah, Message in a Bottle is awesome. That was also one of my runners-up, I think.
Yeah. It's just, I have a lot of Doctor episodes, I guess, on my list here, I've noticed. But yeah, that's just a really fun episode. That was the first time they actually contacted home, I guess, so we did move the story forward a little bit there, too, in that episode.
Well, season 4 is great for that, and I think it does plenty to move an actual, overarching story forward. And again, I don't mean to keep harping on this like Star Trek has to always do that. It's just that premise. It kind of made sense to do that with, and those characters too. But then when you get past that, we're not doing that as much. So 4 doesn't feel as serialized as it did when it was on. If you watch the rest of it, because 5, 6, and 7 really got away from that. And that was unfortunate, but I think 4 is their best season. I really do. I think 5 has some of their best episodes, but I think as a season, it's sort of like when you get into bands and you're talking about songs versus albums.
Right.
Some of your best songs might be on your not as great albums.
When I watched Voyager all the way through some years back, I was surprised to relearn just how early they contact Starfleet. Throughout the course of the whole show,
I mean, it's by the halfway point.
Yeah, but still, I always remembered it being way later, at least another season and a half later than it actually was.
They contact Starfleet, but then they don't contact them again for
And I think that was part of it.
A while.
I think a lot of
until
people,
that Pathfinder episode happened.
If they came on late, didn't even think that was happening until Pathfinder. Yeah, which was also on my runners-up, by the way. I almost put Pathfinder on the list.
Yeah.
I think that's one of Barclay's best episodes.
Yeah.
It's a great Barclay episode, yeah.
It's really good. Okay. So we get to Sarah's number 3.
Did you do yours?
I don't know. Yeah, my number 3 is Worst Case Scenario.
Oh.
Ooh, Worst Case Scenario.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
That's Seska's best episode. She's not even in it.
It's just a great holodeck episode.
I think it might be the best holodeck episode, or at least it's way up there, man. It's really solid.
A lot of fun.
It's so much fun. It's like if Janeway got access to the Matrix. She just starts monkeying with stuff and I'll give him this, and she's like, I'm gonna try out my writing skills. And, it's so much fun.
When it aired and they did one of the, how the trailers were so crazy every week, and it was like,
yes,
is there gonna be a mutiny and all this stuff? I was like, what?
Well, on board a starship,
and that was their excuse. Like, and we've been talking about this with a lot of our favorite Voyager episodes. A lot of them are excuses to do token things that should have been more prominent in the series. This was even better and more and kind of more fun than a lot of those, because I think they were poking fun at themselves a little bit, where it was like, yeah, this is sort of what the show was supposed to be, but we weren't allowed to do that, so we're going to give it to you on the holodeck. And, like, basically, Tuvok ends up writing the show it should have been. And I love that it's Tuvok, because it was just to train everybody in case, the outside chance something like that ends up happening. And, yeah, but in trying to create something that seemed kind of believable and realistic, he ends up making some real drama that's really fun. And then it's also fun to compare it to Author later, because the Doctor's not doing anything that's remotely believable. And Tuvok's, even though it kind of watches like a primetime drama on that ship, you can sort of buy that. And you can buy it from Tuvok's perspective, because he writes that during a time where he really doesn't trust Chakotay. So when you watch that through Tuvok's lens, like, I feel like there's almost some like character development for Tuvok that we've never quite gotten just through that holodeck program. We're like, this is what he thought of Chakotay.
And we also see his skills as like a holodeck programmer, basically, too.
Well, everybody is apparently really good at that.
Apparently everybody's really good. It's really easy. It's like
Mario Maker.
It's like doing Squarespace or whatever.
That's also one of those, and I guess a lot of my top tier episodes have been like this for me, where it's an episode that I discovered later that I didn't know about, and I liked it a lot more, I think, because I was like, oh, there's like this really great Voyager episode that I didn't even know existed. And I had that with A Matter of Time too.
Yeah.
And so I think that helps.
Isn't there another
list, probably?
Isn't there like another Mutiny episode in like season 7 that's really bad and stupid? Like,
yes,
people are like under the influence or something.
Because there's the Maquis guy that gets like a drug in Tuvok's head that makes him like hallucinate that guy.
Is he like way back in the Alpha Quadrant or some crap? Like that,
I think so.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of 7 I've only seen a couple times because it's really bad, most of it, and the ones that aren't are the ones that I've seen as much as I've seen the other. Like Shattered, I've seen 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
But most of the body switch episode with Kim and 7, like, why would you ever go back to that?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
You remember that? Where like she just wouldn't stop eating like pie and stuff.
Was that Kim or
was that the doctor?
Like
that was the
constantly?
doctor.
Or was the doctor? Oh, that's right. It was the doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, that was not good. I mean, I can tell they were having a good time making it, but it felt a little self-indulgent. Yeah, guys, I'm seeing a lot of questions. But we'll go back and look at a few of these here in a few minutes after we get finished with our lists. Okay, where are we? Oh, yes. Sarah's number 3 is... No, we said that. No, is Shattered. She tied you with Shattered.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
In the exact same place.
Okay.
Number 2,
so my
Brandon.
number 2 is Course Oblivion. And we previously already talked about that the other week, so...
Wait a minute, I definitely missed one somewhere.
You did?
Okay, we're on 2 right now, right?
Uh-huh.
Somehow I never got my 5 out, even though I thought I did. I think I said Death Wish for 5, but Death Wish was actually 4. So I'll just throw this out real quick, and I'll be surprised if Adam doesn't have it high on his list. But my 5 was Counterpoint.
Counterpoint did not make my list.
Wow, that
made my runner-up.
Blows my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that.
One.
I didn't mean to like interject out of turn, but I totally forgot to throw that out. That's the one with the kind of tete-a-tete with the guy who's into music, and he and Janeway keep putting everything into like really interesting kind of musical terms, and he is of the species that has to keep like boarding Voyager and doing these checks while they're going through their space, these inspections.
That's right.
And it's awesome. It should have been a TNG episode.
Aren't they looking
it's
for
so
That's a
good.
great one. Yeah.
Hololife forms?
I should have put that on my
That's
list
what
too.
it was. Yeah, they were looking, which is kind of a silly
Photonic
idea.
life forms.
And yet I was kind of telepaths. They're looking for telepaths.
That's what it was.
If it was holographic life forms, immediately that's a stupid episode, even if it's as well written as that was. Because I was so sick of that in Voyager. It was like just because we have a holographic doctor, in the Delta Quadrant, there's like all these races that have like issues with holographic beings, or you have like holographic beings that have issues with physical people, and you're just like, this never came up before. Like, what is happening? Anyway, I'm sorry. What was your number 2? What did you say?
My number 2 was Course Oblivion, but we've talked
about that a lot. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what your 1 is then, because I thought that would be your number 1. Adam, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Living Witness.
And we just watched that the other day with Sarah, and Sarah hates that episode.
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah,
I was surprised to find that out.
Yeah, I won't go into that, but that was an interesting conversation. I did not put that on my list. It's a fan favorite. Most people have it somewhere. Oh, you know what? That's gonna be Brandon's. I forgot about that. So Brandon put an episode that my wife really didn't want to watch. We on as his number 1. Like we turn it on, she just groans, and you see this look on Brandon's face. He's like, "That was my number 1 on my list."
Yeah.
Sarah's number 2 is Counterpoint, which is why I was confused, because I was like, wait, that's on my list somewhere. What is going on? Okay, so let's go ahead and knock out our number 1s now, and Brandon's, we already, I think, figured it out. What is it,
Living Witness.
Living Witness. Do you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
I do really enjoy this, and despite finding a couple of more flaws with the episode when I watched it again, I still think it holds up really, really well. And I dig I dig this idea that somehow a possible life form from Voyager is able to be here in the distant future, and provide I always like when Star Trek delves into other cultures' origins, and this kind of delves into their history, their past, and I think it speaks well to how archaeology is an inexact science, at best in a lot of areas. Now it's an exact science in certain areas, but there are certain things you do have to try to fill in the gaps for. So I like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I like it a lot because it's a good illustration of how history is also like it's not neutral the way it's written or presented. It's definitely ideologically influenced.
Yeah.
And it does a good job, and who's telling the story is important as what the story is,
Certainly.
Yeah, I guess one of my things with that is I just wish that it hadn't been like so much the opposite. I feel like it's a little too simplistic in like they try to play it like this species got certain facts right and certain facts wrong, but some of the facts that they get wrong are like really silly. And when you get like the Doctor's version of events, because basically if you watch that episode when it airs and you don't know what you're getting yourself into, you're gonna think you're looking at the Mirror Universe during the teaser. Right. Like it's crazy psycho Mirror Universe Janeway like murdering people on the ship. And being all excited about like exterminating a whole planet's population and stuff, like Tuvok's a genocidal maniac, and Jamie's like, yay, genocidal maniac. And then the Doctor gives his version of events. They find him, and he's a backup of the Doctor, which by the way should have come up more. That was the thing too, where we always act like we've got like big drama. We're gonna lose the Doctor. It's like, well, there's a backup that they had in the 31st century.
Right.
But anyway, you get the Doctor's version of events, and everything's the exact opposite. Where it's like Tedrin wasn't a martyr. He was the bad guy. It's like I always felt like stuff should have been a little bit less black and white than that. Like wasn't kind of the point of the episode that things aren't so black and white, but like everything was the exact opposite from what they thought it was. And I don't know. It's a little easy. I don't think that script is as good as the premise and the overarching. It's like the writer's room is great, but they maybe had the wrong person sit down and write that. I don't know.
Well, you remember it was Elisa Klink.
Was that Elisa Klink? No, it wasn't. That was the thing I was kind of surprised by.
Well, are you sure? Because I thought that's the one that I saw her name on.
No, her name's on. She was a story editor, so her name's on a lot of those. But when we were watching that night and we saw that, I was like, I wonder if she actually wrote that. I don't think she did.
Okay.
But I'd have to go back and look anyway. Yeah, but I don't mean to rip down your favorite episode. I think it's really good, but
I like it.
I mean, I also get why my wife doesn't like it.
It's not perfect, but I like it a lot.
I guess with Sarah not here right now, I felt like I had to give some of the negatives because she's like, that episode's bad. And also, Sarah doesn't like the Doctor that much.
Oh.
She has this whole Dr. Data thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amusing. Sometimes I wonder how we like some of the same things.
So one of the things that I didn't
Sure, she doesn't
like
like
about
Data.
that episode,
She doesn't like Data either.
She's not a big Data fan. No, and she doesn't.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't think a lot of his episodes are handled as well as a lot of people do.
one of the things that I didn't like about that episode is that these aliens are supposedly 700 years in their future from spacefaring aliens, where the episode takes place in the past. They should be far more advanced, I feel like, than what we're led to believe based on, the nature
So
of
that ends up just being budget stuff, but
Yes.
I hear you where it's like it's 700 years in the future.
That because for the vast majority of human civilizations, we were using it was agrarian, and we were using carts to pull things, and not until the Industrial Revolution
they're already
did we
spacefaring in the
change.
beginning of the episode.
That's the thing is the
Right,
question
but
is
you can
when
still hit a
hit
plateau.
Yeah,
but
we don't know for sure where a plateau hits when you get to certain technologies, though.
Right.
Is the thing. So I don't know. It's also interesting to note that episode takes place in the 31st century, which is where Daniels is from in Enterprise. So they're in the century where the temporal Cold War is at its height.
Cold War is going on, right?
Yeah. I don't think they remembered that when they made Enterprise, but that's where that happens.
The future guy was the backup doctor the whole time.
And Sarah's favorite, that's nuts. Yeah, that's better than it being Archer, right?
Archer.
Have we had this conversation?
Yes, how it's going to be Archer.
It was supposed to be Archer.
Okay, Braga. Okay.
Doesn't make any sense. Sarah's favorite Voyager episode is Worst Case Scenario.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
That's a good one. Okay, there's a couple of questions we need to answer real quick.
Which one was your favorite, Cap?
Wait, I didn't do my favorite.
Yeah, you guys didn't do
I thought we already did ours. Well, mine was Course Oblivion, although I might want to switch it with Worst Case Scenario the more we talk about it. What is yours, sir?
My number one is Worst Case Scenario.
Is it really? You and Sarah have the same number one, and like nothing else lines up on that list.
That's funny.
And Brandon, so what was your number two then, Brandon?
Remember my number two was Course Oblivion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your number one was Living Witness.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. In fact, before we get to some questions, I don't want to run too late, but do you guys want to do a few runners-up just real fast?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you have your list, Adam?
Yeah, like, I mean, you guys named a lot of them. Like, Death Wish, what's the one with the planet, Brandon?
The time
goes
planet
fast.
that goes really fast.
My favorite thing talking about Star Trek was when somebody says the one with the planet.
Oh, planet
That's my
that goes.
thing. You remember the one with the planet?
That was on my list. That was Blink of an Eye.
Yes.
Blink of an Eye, Shattered,
Think Tank's on mine.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, Think Tank actually made my list, but I'm starting to wonder if other things shouldn't have taken.
What about the Omega Directive? Is that on your runner-up at all?
That
Omega Directive,
should
I think,
be.
was on Sarah's list, was it not? No, I'm surprised it wasn't.
That should
Voyager
be on my
Conspiracy
runners-up. I do like the Omega Directive.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
On
Perfection.
runners up, I put Resolutions on mine. The one with the monkey on the planet.
That's kind
Kinda like that one.
It's a fun episode.
Distant
Reese's
Origin, which I think somebody put on their actual list. Did
that
you
was
put it
on my
your
list.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Adam.
Was that on your list, Brandon?
Oh, it's on my list. Yeah, Distant Origin. Yeah, it's on my list.
Deadlock,
That's on my
Deadlock.
list.
Author.
That's a good one. Not on my list.
I was surprised Twisted made Sarah's list. It was on my runners up. I can't read my handwriting. I don't know what that is. I guess I'm not gonna say it. I don't know what it is.
Is it
It seems like
Logan?
yeah, it was a Logan.
A Logan.
No, we can do a worst of list down the road, okay? But that's not. I don't even know if that.
Next week, our worst of list.
Going through Voyager again, I'm not sure that actually makes it now. There's some other really bad episodes, but it's.
Yeah.
You know what? That should make it just because of the Kess scream. The Kess scream immediately puts it on that list.
Yeah, her scream is so weird.
And she consistently does the exact same thing every time. I don't know how she
Maybe
came to
it's
that.
a Compton thing.
I guess, but it was a choice, man.
He didn't like the potpourri or something at one point in that episode.
Yes! Yes, it was!
He's eating dirt.
I tell you what. We have a few questions people wanted to ask. Let's go ahead and do our first episode, and then we can come back to them in between episodes. Let's do that. I just want to make sure that we don't miss Tom's super chat. There's a couple other cool things I wanted to talk about. Okay, but we are right at 8 o'clock, so I think we should probably go ahead and watch something. And the something we're going to watch, because we've already spun the wheel, Brandon, is I can't remember now. What was it?
What was it?
I don't remember either.
What was it? It was TNG. It was Frame of Mind.
Oh, that's right, Riker.
Oh yeah, Frame of Mind.
It was Frame of Mind. So let's go ahead and watch Frame of Mind. We can't remember an hour behind ourselves.
Season 6 or 5?
Frame of Mind is 5, I want to say. I could be wrong about that.
It's season frakes.
Season frakes. He gets an entire season, nothing but frakes. And then when you get to the end, somebody crashes his ship and everybody forgets everything that happened.
Frosted Flakes.
In the season of... You say Frosted Flakes?
Yeah, it's if you gave him tips in the 90s, like Frosted...
Frame of Mind is episode 21 of season 6. Forgot it was that late. Wow, that's amazing. Late. We're going to get to watch Frakes act as Riker acting.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Frakes of Mind.
Frakes of Mind.
Right? So that was... Wait a minute. Where is it?
We're going to eat us some Frosted Frakes.
21.
21.
Okay.
Let's do that thing again, Brandon.
Oh,
Second
weird.
chances.
That did to me last week.
Why?
I don't know.
Spaceballs.
Hold on, everybody.
I watch Spaceballs.
We're having a whole thing here.
Spaceballs.
Can we watch that for a Trek Club meeting
too.
sometime?
No, we can't. Because it's a parody of Star Wars.
Well,
I don't care that it has references to Star Trek, okay? Don't make that argument.
No,
I don't care.
I'm not. It's totally Star Wars spoof, but...
Why would we do that in Star Trek Club?
I don't know. For fun.
It's not even. It's okay. It's not even Mel Brooks' best movie.
We can do a commentary on that at some point on the channel.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But why would we do it in Star Trek Club, Brandon?
Just for fun. We can all get points.
Why does it have to be Star Trek Club? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, everybody get Frame of Mind ready. Mine finally is. I don't know why he keeps doing that. And get it to, it's so weird. Get a timestamp 0 and get ready to press play when I say now. Oh, hold on. I gotta get my my dashboard back. Hang on. I gotta just keep making Adam disappear.
It's a whole game of it.
Yeah, I mean, we might. People keep asking about this. We might do some Orville at some point because it's like Star Trek. It has something to do with Star Trek, but not Spaceballs.
Hey,
I mean, we did Galaxy Quest.
A monkey wrench in there.
Yeah, we did in Galaxy Quest. Well, not for this show, but in our old club we did. But
our old club.
Yeah.
We did commentary.
It has stuff to do with but we weren't doing Star Trek Club this way yet.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Everybody, please press play. Are you ready, Brandon?
I'm ready.
Right now. Apparently, I don't care if Adam's ready.
Oh, he looks crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crazy Riker is the way we denote if he's crazy is we just bring his hair down like this. Like I should do this whole
his hair. Like, why doesn't his beard growing all out and stuff?
I don't.
His beard still looks really like perfectly manicured and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Well, no, there's a reason for that though. I think.
Oh,
so
because this is
the thing to keep in mind is that he's acting in a play, and I don't think he can convince Picard that he should let his facial hair get all scraggly when he's on duty for the sake of a play. Method acting. So yeah, this episode made Sarah's list. It's one of, if not her favorite episode.
Yeah, this made mine too, I think.
Spider gets to pretend to be a bad guy because he likes playing bad guys in things.
Oh, Are you doing your hair like crazy?
Yeah, he's crazy, man.
Freaks it up.
I wish I'd grabbed a spoon.
Oh yeah, that lady.
He's awesome in this.
Yeah.
We get a rare view of the ceiling.
What's really funny is the set that they build for this play is, of course, made out of all the same material that they used to just make sets in the show.
Yeah.
So at the end, when he starts tearing down the set, you can imagine he could just walk up to any place in the ship and do that.
Yeah. It shows you how flimsy everything else is.
That's fantastic. Like, when you don't know what's going on and he just suddenly breaks character, it's jarring in a good way.
Great,
It's like, what is happening? Like, why am I watching a blooper? Right? What is happening?
Yeah.
And then because he's acting in a play, you don't necessarily expect it to go where it's going to go later, where it's like, we think that something weird has happened to Riker where he's maybe lost himself or something. And then later in the episode, that's going to actually happen the other way. Right. It's nice. This is another great teaser. Tom, timestamp 232, 240.
I wonder how many.
240.
How many? Sorry.
Go ahead.
How many? Do you think there's like a weekly thing where Crusher subjects the crew to watch other crew members act?
I feel like Crusher is constantly kind of subjecting people to things. Just the girl in the corridor.
Yeah.
But behind him.
Like, yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing, Riker?
Oh, there's that guy.
Yeah, who are you?
But yeah, this is one of the better what is real, what is not kinds of episodes. And it's not so freaky that it doesn't end up making sense at the end, which is what I like about it.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of these kind of Brandon Braga-esque scripts where you get to the end and it's kind of nonsensical, and you're like, well, I mean, that was a fun ride and all, but when you get to the end, I don't really buy anything that happened. And this episode's not like that so much.
Like Genesis.
Yes. But Genesis isn't... Well, that's a bit of a horse of a different color, but you're right. I mean, that is a Braga thing. But I mean, like that TNG or that Voyager episode with where we see Barclay the first time, but it's not actually Barclay, and it's like it's a hologram of Barclay. Thing, I still don't know what's going on in that episode entirely.
Cass is supposed to be his wife, and she calls him like Lewis the whole time.
It's that reality inside of a reality thing, and he's supposed to blow up the warp core, but he actually would kill everyone if he did that, or would he? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I forget now.
Early episodes. Yeah.
Do you remember that one? Do you know what we're talking about?
I think that's a season 1 episode.
No. It's 2.
It's 2.
It's 2 or 3. It's definitely later than 1.
I always get 2 and 1 confused because there was one was short, you know.
Isn't it that he's trying to eject the warp core because he thinks it's going to breach? But
no, he says like point your phaser at it and blow it up. Like the big conflict that whole episode is or the ticking time bomb is supposed to be like if you don't blow it up and end this holodeck simulation, then you're gonna keep going crazier. Because he's supposed to think that he's Louis Zimmerman. That's the first reference we have to Zimmerman.
Yes. Zimmerman.
Tracker, projections. That's in his season 2. It says he has mental breakdowns while vacationing away in the holodeck. Like, when you get to the end, there's an explanation for it, but there are certain things. It's been a while since I've watched that, but there are certain bits of it where I found myself thinking that it didn't all track at the end. I'm like, well, I don't know why this happened, but I don't know. Maybe it all does work, and I just don't remember it right. But it's been a while.
Genesis is worth watching just to see Crusher's reaction when Worf spits that acid in her face.
Remember that?
Oh, man.
The biggest problem with Genesis is just having to watch characters walk around finding out all the stuff you know already.
Right. And it's just weird. Like, how do you devolve and come back?
Telonian. Remember that one.
I won't, though. It's so generic.
Iconian, Telonian.
Iconian. There's a town in Missouri called Iconium.
Stop calling me. I'm doing Star Trek Club.
You know, like, it's funny to hear Picard say that since Patrick Stewart, is a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, yeah. So somebody explain something to me. Crusher's into the performing arts, and she's embarrassed that she's a dancer, but not about acting. Somebody explain that to me.
Well, yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, that whole dancing doctor thing, she just didn't want anybody to know about it for some reason, but she has an acting class? I just need somebody to explain that to me.
She only does serious theater. None of those musicals.
You know what I'm saying?
None of that light entertainment.
You know, I never thought of that, Indiana Tracker, and I'm wondering if that actually tracks or if there's episodes where they make a mistake on that. If that's true, that's kind of cool. He says the giveaway with these episodes where it's not real is you never see exterior shots of the ship. I don't know if we're consistent about that, but if we are, that's a good point.
Or
see, now I fix his hair. So I got to fix my hair again. Hold on.
Reason.
Thermal regenerator.
I also like that throughout this episode, I mean, it's a long time before we can be sure that there's anything actually fishing going on, that it's not just like Riker kind of losing it. I like the idea that maybe he's like losing himself in this place so much that it's really messing with his head.
Right.
I also, Brandon, since you brought up schisms earlier, think that we could have done this in schisms. This could have been the thing that was that he was going through with schisms, where like I'm not sleeping, and that's making me hallucinate all this crazy stuff while I'm trying to do this play.
He buried himself in the part, as the doctor as Dr. McCoy once said.
Don't bury yourself in the part. I love the directing in this episode. There's all these like near fisheye lens kinds of moves that are great.
Yes.
Riker, what are you drinking? She's got water, and he's got Kool-Aid.
He's got Kool-Aid.
So he's talking to a counselor here. He's talking to a counselor in the play, and he'll be talking to a counselor...
Oh, I forgot that was the name of the play, too, in the episode.
It's
called Frame of Mind. I totally forgot about that.
So he, in all of his realities...
It's a good name for a pretentious play about what's real and what isn't. Like, I don't even think this is supposed to be a great play. Or if it is, it kind of works that they don't talk about it like it's brilliant. You know what I mean?
It seems like some very 1950s kind of a play or something like that.
Or like something some kid wrote in college and just got lucky that somebody picked it up. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Rand?
I was just saying, in each of his realities, he's dealing with counselors. So it's kind of they're all parallel to the storyline.
Oh, interesting, Indiana Tracker. I didn't know that. He says, if he remembers right, according to the TNG companion, originally this is going to be a Geordi episode. And he says, I think Riker fits it better. I agree, although it would have been nice to give Geordi more cool stuff like this. Also, well, see, but then when I say that, this feels very typical for either Riker or Geordi, because he's constantly, like, getting kidnapped and getting weird stuff done to his brain, and, like, this Geordi also makes sense as a Geordi episode.
And Geordi gets kidnapped.
Do you like that Geordi episode with his mom?
No, I don't. It's terrible.
You don't like that one?
But I also... Ah! So, Adam, we keep commenting on how things look different with the remasters, particularly like makeup and stuff. Crusher's hair is so much redder now.
I know.
That's the reason this has to be a Riker episode, because LaForge would not have done that creepy smile. Although I would have really liked to have gotten to see LeVar Burton do this kind of overacting, because he's got it in him, and we just don't get to see him do it that much.
I always remember that little window on that door for some reason from this episode. There's like a shot of Riker on the other side of it or whatever.
Mr. Roboto says, how do you make a blind guy see random stuff? Well, I mean, it's in his head.
Yeah, he had those implants or whatever, so it's just whatever feeds right into his brain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you would dramatize it exactly the same way, and you would just assume that he's seeing it differently through his visor.
I mean, it's exactly what the Romulans did in is it Mind's Eye?
They plug right into his visor, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good point you're making, though, Mr. Roboto, that, like, it would maybe be a pretty quick tell, like, you know, I'm seeing things in my mind's eye, but my visor is not picking up on it. That would maybe be kind of difficult to deal with. I don't know how much of the audience would really think about it if you never called attention to it, though.
Right. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Trekker says, I never knew McFadden wore wigs. Midway through season 6, she got rid of the wigs and went with her natural straight hair. And says, I read that on Prime Memory Alpha. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I didn't know that, but it looks a lot better if that's true when she gets away from wigs. They just could not decide what to do with the female actors' hair in these shows.
They always, yeah. They were always changing it. I think that's a Berman thing. I'm going to blame him.
I think you absolutely can. Yeah. This guy is in other episodes, is he not?
He looks very familiar
at the beginning.
Well, I don't know who he is, but I just recognize him, and I feel like he's in a couple other episodes, maybe.
Yeah.
But I could be mistaken.
We'll look that up.
It's like Brandon's already doing it. It's like it's like every genre show has to have the episode about the character who thinks that they're hallucinating their whole life.
Right.
Like Buffy's got one, Smallville's got one, this has one. Like
this Babylon.
We always do this.
One. I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember because I don't know that show well enough. I've only seen what I've seen of that one time.
Yeah. I know that they have an interrogation episode.
Yeah. But the difference here, a lot of those shows, it'll be like, the premise of the show is so outlandish that you have to be in like something closer to the real world and you've been hallucinating the whole world. The first time I saw this, I expected it to be like that, where it's like on a starship. What space travel? It's like, no, the Federation still exists in this reality.
Right. But the real question, Jay, does Sequest have one of these episodes?
Sequest just didn't last long enough, I don't think. Yeah.
And they changed it every season.
A submarine in the water? That's crazy! A talking dolphin? We gotta finally make a show about that stupid show. For the 19 people that would watch it.
The dolphin thing wasn't that ridiculous compared to some of the other stuff on that show. I could buy, like, they made a computer translate
there's crazy
dolphin
stuff on
sounds
that
or whatever,
show.
You know?
Yeah.
But compared to, like, Gilman in season 2, remember that guy?
Well, yeah. That's... When I was a kid, that was, like, the coolest thing. He's got gills? I thought that was so cool.
Where am I? Why am I here?
Whenever we have somebody that hallucinates an alien, because later on we'll see one of these aliens in the Enterprise, and he'll go after someone. Is it this episode where it's like, I'm Lieutenant Suda, sir? Is that this one, or is that something else? I forget. But
That's
anyway,
the one. Isn't that the one where the guy throws himself into? What's the name of the guy that threw himself into the warp cell?
No, I don't think it's that one. I forget. But like I think I'm right. I think it's this one, because he's gonna attack somebody in the audience that he thinks is one of these aliens, and there is and there's a Voyager episode that has creepy looking aliens in people's like daydreams or something, or in their dreams. And that may be the one we were talking about earlier. But I forget if it's that episode or if it's a different one. But they always have this kind of makeup.
Yes.
Just the generic forehead
makeup. Generic forehead thing. He's gonna go walk the yard. Well.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
This guy's good and creepy.
I think you could take that guy, Riker.
Yeah.
And this little guy.
No, I think you win that fight.
He's played 4 characters: Vulcan, Captain, Toscat, Wayland, and Cyrus.
You're not gonna give me episode titles?
Those people.
It doesn't have episode titles there.
That's why I never look up things in the moment like that, because you can't find what you're actually looking for very readily. But yeah, I know he's in other stuff. That's the only point I was making.
Oh, he's the guy in Dixon Hill who Picard has to shut off after he figures out he's a hologram.
Oh, that whole existential crisis that we don't even talk about ever again. Interesting. Oh, there's that lady. Was that the... So that lady is the one with the spoon?
Yes.
The one they just showed. Okay.
And if she didn't end up thinking a spoon was a communicator, Riker would have absolutely slept with that chick. There's just no way around that. That would have happened.
Yeah.
Totally.
He's like, no, that's a turn off.
One of the ways they really subvert expectations in this episode is by having Riker not actually get in bed with anyone.
I'm going to swipe left on that one.
Thomas says he loves my new hairstyle. Thanks. I'm thinking about sticking with it. And then I'll see if I can get my wife to go with the hairstyle that this girl has.
She's just enough unkempt, that I believe she's crazy.
Her hair's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll see if Sarah will do that hair. And then she and I can go around like this.
Oh, from the Yorktown.
Yeah. She sounds really believable. So I guess this is supposed to be like a narcissistic personality disorder where you have a lot of people that have like delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
And I guess I buy that in this world. That the delusion isn't you're so crazy you think you're on a spaceship. It's that you think you're so important you're on a spaceship.
Right.
She's great, by the way, for this little one scene she gets.
I've seen this lady before somewhere too. Doesn't she show up again? I'm gonna look her up, Brandon.
Yeah, she's in something.
Oh, Toscat, who he played, was the Ocampan Elder in the Caverns of Ocampa.
The what?
He played an elder, an Ocampan Elder.
Oh, and Caretaker?
Yeah.
Oh, he was maybe one of those guys in the hospital or whatever. Interesting.
Oh no, he got my communicator. I have no chance at contacting the Yorktown now. Wow, what is that? I feel bad for Riker having to eat that.
It's space.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes for having to eat that. But Frakes will eat anything, but he ate those grubs in Conspiracy, so... Those mealworms.
I don't feel like this Mavet guy is is qualified for this job.
No.
I feel like you'd get fired if you walked around just pointing and laughing at all the crazy people.
You think Frakes got like a reputation as willing to do anything on this show? Like he was game for anything? Because after they had him go in the Armis liquid, they're like, well, he'll do anything at this point. We can get this guy to do whatever we want.
He
He'll
ate
be
those
like,
bugs
cool.
when he was at Starfleet. In Conspiracy?
Yeah, and then Patrick Stewart's like, well, I'll do a one-up on Frakes. I'm going to eat the things out of the Tespa egg in Chain of Command. Like, Frakes isn't the only person that's done weird, crazy-looking stuff on TNG.
True. Oh, you know who that woman was?
You're lying!
The crazy lady? That was the Susanna Thompson who played the Borg Queen in a couple episodes of
was that who that was? She's so young there.
So I'd like to point out that Frakes' acting is, I don't know if
she's Oliver Queen's mom.
On purpose, but he's like,
oh, interesting.
He is a way worse actor inside than he is inside the frame of mind set.
I don't agree, because I think he's doing that on purpose. It's over the top because he's starting to wonder if he's crazy, so he's acting like the guy in the play, and he's kind of like losing himself.
Theater makeup on.
It's like intentionally bad acting that ends up working as good acting, Brandon.
Okay.
In the context of that.
That's what I was kind of wondering about. Do you
So
think
that's
he was
her
doing
nor-
that on
so that's her
purpose?
real
Yes.
hair?
I think he absolutely was doing that on purpose.
Hamming it up in that scene because he's
I
a
do.
crazy person.
But that can't possibly be her real hair color.
It's very red.
I mean, somebody earlier said that she's got ginger hair, but, like, that's very red. I mean, maybe just photographed that way, but...
Right. But it looks better than the wig she wore in season 1, when she had that 80s hair.
Stephen Murphy says Riker's living in his own Total Recall. Yes, he is.
Recall.
So he was he's the Vulcan captain of the survey ship in Carbon Creek. Was his other role?
Oh, classic
Enterprise.
episode. Awkward.
Why is he just looking at the back of Crusher's head?
That's a great question.
He's just like
That guy is just not...
The guy in the background.
He's like, I forgot to look elsewhere.
Line.
Or maybe he just thinks that it's so awkward watching Riker try to remember his lines that he, like... He's embarrassed
Yeah,
for
he's like,
him, so he doesn't want to look at the...
I
I can't
look
watch
away.
this train wreck.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the way we're shooting this is a really great choice.
Yeah. It's a lot of handheld in this episode.
For such a, like, wholesome family show, TNG did a lot of really good horror nods.
Yeah.
And I think it was better at this kind of stuff than some later shows that try to do it even more often. I mean, Enterprise was awful at that.
I think Voyager tried to do more horror. Yeah, Enterprise.
And Voyager
We
did
wanna
more
talk about
that
the
didn't
Vulcan
land, I
comedy
think. Like,
episode.
TNG often, when they did it, it landed.
Yeah. That episode with the murderous hologram on Voyager is pretty creepy.
Yeah. That's one that my wife likes a lot.
Yeah. That guy's. And then whenever I see that guy in anything else, I'm like creeped out by him.
So TNG had the only sick bay that was kind of based a little bit on the TOS sick bay, and then after that we really get away from that look.
And I think also a lot of the set of the TNG sickbay was a reuse of motion picture era set, especially those bio beds and everything.
Tricorder wearing.
So that might be why it was very inspired by TOS.
But yeah, see, Brandon, I think he's going pretty over the top on purpose because he's like intentionally out of character.
Right.
He's getting a little bit unhinged, or just so unnerved and unsettled that he thinks he's unhinged. So when he starts going like drugs, they check me for drugs. Like, that's not the way Riker talks. Like, he's doing that on purpose because he's all stressed out. I don't think I would want to walk around the corridors wearing that.
It's not a flattering look. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Also, I'm not sure how Frakes pulls this off, and there are several points in the show where he has to do this. Whenever he has to look really tired, he does something with his face. Like, I don't know if he just like intentionally somehow makes sure he doesn't get enough sleep before he goes into a scene like that, but like he always looks like he hasn't had enough sleep when he's supposed to.
Right, like he does it in at the beginning of again Schisms.
Schisms, yeah. But everybody has to have that in that episode.
That episode doesn't really have a teaser at all. It's just him falling asleep during Data's performance.
Oh yeah.
You know, we were talking about.
Oh, is that the one with the Ode to Spawn?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
We were talking about advertisements for like season openers of things like for Star Trek and stuff. Now I want to go back and find some and watch them. Just see
they're all on YouTube.
They were, yeah.
They're all on YouTube and they're all on the DVD sets too.
Yeah.
Next week on Star Trek Voyager.
But yeah, like this far in, we still really don't know what's happening to him, and there's every possibility it's all actually in his head. Yeah, wow, that is her. She's just really young. That's crazy.
Next week on Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah.
Chakotay's going insane. What will he be doing?
You got it, man.
Next week on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Sisko punches a man in the face repeatedly.
You betrayed your uniform!
So this does happen a fair bit to Riker, where he thinks, as you mentioned earlier, where he's in another reality and he's forced to believe that he's been hallucinating the other thing.
Yeah, and it's like a reality inside of a reality.
Yeah.
By this point, I mean, we're at the end of season 6. You should be like, I'm really getting sick of this, you know? Cause like the one with his kid, with the that's like Minuet's kid, has already happened by now. You'd be like, God, not again!
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the same thing, but it would feel like it if you were Riker.
But
future imperfect, future imperfect.
At that point, too, Riker should be like, this always happens to me. Like, is this what's happening again?
When he tells Picard to shut up.
Yes. That means close your mouth and stop talking.
Stop talking.
But we're discharging you tomorrow.
Their head makeup looked like when I was like, remember when we were in elementary school and you like roll the clay?
Yeah.
Or whatever, like shape it, like that's what it looks like.
It does look like that. Yeah, reflection therapy. Just stare in a mirror for a long time. And the stakes get real high here, where he's basically talking about lobotomy.
Yeah.
If the reflection therapy, if staring in a mirror doesn't work.
Yeah.
In other words, we're going to completely lobotomize you, Riker.
As Charlton Heston said, you cut up his brain, you bloody baboon.
Now, I forget, the way this ends, are we going to be led to believe that there was any chance that Riker actually could have lost his mind completely in this?
I don't remember.
Like, could he have sort of been lobotomized if he did the wrong thing? I can't remember if the stakes were ever actually that high or not.
Oh yes, this is when in the reflection therapies when all these like they had that effect with the mirror breaking and everything. I remember that.
Yes. Well, that's going to happen at the end. The reflection therapy is going to be like he conjures up personalities in his head, because right now he doesn't. He's got like partially amnesia and he doesn't remember all of his crew, and they're going to come to him and he's going to be like, "Oh, I know her from somewhere."
The thing looks like the
Troy is going to be part of his
Stargate in the movie Stargate.
Yes,
that they blow up the.
Yeah, so like Troy's gonna be part of his personality, and
yes.
Picard will, and he's gonna this guy's gonna interpret like who is supposed to represent what. Indiana Tracker says, I think this was the first episode of many where crew members represented parts of someone's personality. God, that got old. Yeah, it's really good when we do it with Troy, or not Troy, with Dax and DS9.
Yeah. Yes.
But you're right. We do that. We do that too often in Star Trek.
Oh, don't forget.
I think that's the best.
And Waltz.
Okay, I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, we're only thinking of positive examples right now, but you're right. I have had that thought where it's like, oh, we do this too often.
I'm sure there's some bad ones.
There are some bad ones that just aren't coming to me. Certainly.
I'll have to have Brandon interpret my subconscious and tell me what the bad ones were.
Oh, there's Brandon. He represents the part of your brain that doesn't want to remember crappy Star Trek episodes.
Star Trek.
Cinematographic, no, I don't know what that is. Do you watch Triangulum Audio Studios? I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is.
triangular.
Hi, I'm Worf. I represent the part of your brain that is angry and wants to shoot everything.
That was injured.
This episode is shot so well. I know I keep saying that, but just like
Yeah.
every scene I'm really impressed with.
You know, when Worf was waving that knife around, if he was in Boy Scouts, he'd lose his totem chip. That's the card they give you for knife safety.
You know, I'm sure if a therapist tells you to just be more logical, that helps a lot. Therapist goes, just try to associate the abstract thoughts you're having right now with something that makes more sense than that. Sure. Oh, you look like that guy.
Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Suna, I'm Lieutenant Suna, sir. And then we're gonna have that guy later, and Riker's gonna try to punch him out. Yeah. Man, I am getting Spawnier flashbacks watching this.
Yeah.
Well, there's a really good chance you're gonna completely lose your mind. If you keep reading all these Spawn comics.
Yes.
Now, this is a trick we do a lot to get more of our regulars in the episode and let them do some things. Mm-hmm. Well, I just remembered you just now, so I don't know if you've lied to me or not. Sleep.
Please. No.
Yeah, I would love one line, and again, he's not, to be fair, he's not remembering everything right now, but it'd be great if somehow we could have a line somewhere where he's like, nah, this is even harder on me because of that one time that I thought I had a kid with a holographic wife, and it was like a holodeck inside of a holodeck kind of situation.
Yes.
And then it turned out that my kid was like an alien guy, and then that guy looks a
looks
lot like Grota Chick, but he's not Grota Chick, but he looks like it.
That kid looked like a gray alien from like the X-Files.
Okay, that is just breakfast cereal that they pull out of a box.
Is it?
I don't know what kind of cereal it is.
It looked like quinoa.
It's grains of something.
Quinoa and carrots.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. She has a decent civilian outfit.
Yeah.
TNG is usually not great with those, but that one looks okay.
Yes, it's not a onesie.
Yeah, that helps.
Poor Jake Sisko. He got put in more onesies than anyone.
God, I'm 15. Stop it.
Stop putting me in the onesies.
I'm not 2 years old. Indiana Tracker, just imagine how boring this episode would be in reality. 40 minutes of Riker sitting on a table. Sitting at a table, yeah. I guess he means like if you were Riker. Just how bored you'd be.
So, what's interesting about this is...
I have to let my dog inside. She's...
Okay, we'll see you later.
What's interesting about this is it's a completely different...
Adam just cannot get through Star Trek long.
I guess not. It's a completely different interaction with a crewmate than he's had at all, basically. You know, well, I mean, it's different than even his previous dealings with her in the episode.
Why is the pillow a triangle?
I think
how can that possibly be comfortable? Look at that pillow.
He might have some inkling that something's going on differently at that point.
No, he thinks it's just another hallucination in his head, like the three that they just intentionally conjured up.
They use these espionage outfits a lot. They even made a action figure out of Worf with those.
Yes, I've got that. And they put some texture on it that wasn't there in the episode.
It's like a wool, yeah. Oh man. And I'm pretty sure Soren wore one of those outfits in Generations. Just they had lying around.
You know what? It does look exactly like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm
Take him to security wharf.
I'm being covert, so I can't tell you who I am.
In the hospital. Isn't the whole hospital supposed to be security ward?
Yeah. Ooh, I like the alien writing on the walls. That's a nice touch.
Oh, there's the
Oh yeah, we gotta get the pattern enhancers. Brandon, we should build some pattern enhancers.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool, actually.
And make them light up at the top.
Some cardboard tubes with some stuff inside, spray paint and metallic.
Yeah, we should totally do that.
Oh, they'd be great down here, like 4 corners of your Star Trek.
What is that? That's why pattern enhancers. It helps you transport. Where's your transporter room? Well, I don't have the money to build that.
Next to the Borg
so we just made transporter enhancers for when we eventually get a transporter.
Yeah.
We're still gonna make that Borg alcove.
We've got to make the Borg alcove. So eventually, Adam, here in a minute, we're gonna get to my favorite part of this episode.
Yes.
Which is when people were very clearly told by the directors, stand up unemotionally and clap a lot. It's the best. Do you remember that part? Everybody just goes.
Yes.
It's the best.
When you get the Borg alcove, or are you gonna get one of those things from Spencer Gifts?
Well, yeah, that's what we're waiting to find because they don't make those anymore. They don't have those there anymore. So I gotta find one, and I don't know how to look them up. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're
not plasma lamps because those are the balls.
I think they're like plasma discs.
But they're like that, plasma discs.
So we always do this in episodes like this where there's kind of a fake out and you have to look at your watch and go, wait, there's still 5 minutes left in the episode. So he's probably still hallucinating.
Yeah.
But this is handled better than in some others. You also have this in that episode we were talking about earlier where the doctor is supposed to think that he's Zimmerman and that he's married to Kaz. It's like, but
why does Worf always get his ass?
But doctor, I'm your wife. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. There's still 5 minutes left in the episode. Yes, Worf is always well, yeah, but this is not actually Worf. It's a fantasy of Worf, so it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
But it means whoever programmed it.
I think Deanna breaks Worf's wrist in multiple episodes.
The slow turn of the phaser.
Well, I guess they don't. I guess they don't have redundancies for their wrists.
Whoa.
The cinematographic, I don't know what you're talking about with Abrams and the clapping, but just watch what happens in this episode because it gets really funny. Because he's going to go back to the play, and everybody's going to, like, it's still a hallucination. Everybody's going to think that he's acting when he's not acting, and they're just going to clap louder when he starts screaming. It's great. That was a literal puzzle piece. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I think he'd have made a good Cardassian.
Or a Romulan.
Yeah. Ooh, Romulan.
This episode immediately sucks if you get to the end of it and it turns out that it's also Romulans.
Because we've done that a few times.
I say it sucks. We thought it was Romulans in Future Imperfect and it wasn't. So I guess in this episode it could have been Romulans, but we didn't think it was Romulans. They could have done that.
Yeah, it's still kind of an interesting fake out in Future Imperfect.
And then it's just that silly alien kid.
Whoa! Oh, here you go.
Line. What? Line and scene. It's all about you, isn't it? Now, I will say that the dialogue in this scene is not all that far away from the dialogue in the play.
Yeah.
But I like that he and the character of the play kind of become one, and he just keeps fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good tell, Brandon.
God,
next time my head starts bleeding, I'll just assume that you're a hallucination.
Makeup did not look good that
You're
time.
lying! You're not real, Brandon!
I had to run away.
Oh, there goes Patrick Stewart.
And then watch. They're just gonna start clapping like... and then standing ovation! It's the best! No, it is Schisms again. Well, I was on a table. There was a thing over my head.
Metal swing arm. The scissors.
Is he in the middle of the synaptic reconstruction?
Oh, they're doing the same wide angle lens again like they do in Schisms at the end too, remember?
Yeah, cinematographic, that doesn't that thing you're talking about with Abrams doesn't have anything to do with this, I don't think. That's what would happen, Brandon.
Face palm.
He would just fall down and never get up again. Busted Sim makes a good point. He says, this episode disturbed the heck out of me when I first saw it. And yeah, when it was first on, it was super creepy. There's a lot of fun things to kind of laugh at with it now. And obviously the things that disturbed us then don't necessarily disturb us as much now. But I mean, I think that it's sufficiently unnerving. But when you know it really well, you start to see all the things that are kind of funny in it.
So why do these people do this?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I gotta fix my hair.
There's probably some political thing, I think.
There's drugs. They fill me with drugs,
Lots
Brandon.
of drugs.
It was a roofie #1. That's a dog. Sorry.
It came out of nowhere.
Adam cannot get through Star Trek Club.
You're out of Star Trek Club.
Oh, okay. So all of that was stuff that wasn't specifically programmed. So it's not like the Romulan thing or the not Romulan thing in Future Imperfect where like they programmed a thing specifically for Riker.
Right.
Like, I don't want to call this a great character piece because I don't know how much we actually really learn about Riker. It's more just playing with, like, you know, that character already.
It's a good Frakes piece.
It's a good, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Frosted Frakes.
Frosted Frakes.
This, I recently
We need to make that
Doing
cereal.
the weird thing with the chair again. Look at this.
Is that the cereal he
Yeah,
was eating in the psych ward? Was he eating Frosted Frakes, Brandon? Is that what he was having with
But
strawberries?
I recently learned that there's not just 10 forward. There are other ships that are deck forwards that are crew areas where they can go and relax.
See, watch, he could go do this to any place in the ship right now.
Right?
Do it.
So that may have been... There
you go. We're just watching all Sarah's favorite episodes.
10 forward, but it could have been one of the other deck forwards.
Oh. Was that a redress?
It's 11 forward.
I'm pretty sure that's 10 forward.
I don't
Well,
know.
no, it's not.
They're
It's just another spot.
They're not in 10 forward.
They're not in
Did.
10 forward because the windows aren't there. That's right.
That's not 10 forward.
No, you're right. You're right. But it could be another one of those areas.
We use that in a
'cause
few other things.
It's 10 sideways.
It's 10 backwards. Anyway,
Backwards.
all right. So, guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and answer a couple of your questions, and then we're going to do another episode. Let's go ahead and see what we spin.
What episode?
Well, I guess we're going to find out here in a second,
I'm
Brandon.
gonna guess that
if
it's
you guys,
going to be...
if you guys are both good for another one.
I'm good for another one. It's going to be... do we have any DS9 on the list? I'm sure we do.
There's not a lot. There's a little bit. It is still mostly TNG and Voyager, Brandon.
Yeah, I was going to guess we're going to get a DS9 episode, though.
Let me try to take off the one that we just watched real quick. So frame
so
of
we don't roll it
mind
again. Spin it again.
is here. So
Yep.
we'll
We
drop that
roll
off.
the wheel of Star Trek.
Right, yeah. We're just going to throw a few D20s and see what comes up. Number 6 is this episode. Okay, here we go. I spun it like a bunch of times that time. And we got Home Soil. That's a TNG episode. I don't remember what right away that is.
I don't
What is
recognize
Home
it
Soil?
either.
Isn't that an early one?
Mostly water.
Oh, is that what that is? Is it season 1?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
is that season 1? I think it is.
Okay. I guess that's what we're doing.
Well, like we said, we got to do them.
Okay, so yeah, we got to knock them all out eventually. Thanks for keeping our perspective, Brandon. He's like, I mean, they're all going to come up at some point. Okay, so Home Soil.
We're going to get
At least we're not watching Justice.
Justice at one point. Or
Yeah.
Angel 1. That's going to be coming up.
Is it season 2? Because I didn't see it in season
think-
1.
I thought it was season 1.
I thought it was
But
too.
maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong. Did you see it, Brandon?
I did not see it.
Thought that was a season 1 episode. I'm not finding it. I'm gonna go back through 1 and see if I missed it. I thought it was 1. It's not 3, is it?
It's got to be a 1. What's that?
Nope, there it is. Yeah, episode 17 of season 1. Brandon and I both missed it when we were scanning with our eyes.
Oh, it's this one.
Yes, Brandon.
It's that one, Brandon. It's still doing
When
that
the
thing.
Bow Breaks. We have to watch that one at one point too.
We'll fix it in a second. Anyway, okay, so guys, we're going to take a quick break.
Intermission.
And we will be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. And I hope you guys will stick around with us. If anybody happens to pop in, would somebody in the comments there just let them know that we are taking a break? We'll be back. And
have you not made that background yet?
that we are... No, I forgot all about it. I need to do that. And that also we are watching Home Soil. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back. See you in a minute, Adam.
Or 5.
All right, folks, we have returned.
We have? That's cool.
I'm
still out there.
Was that a question mark?
I'm still out there.
Okay.
My frame of mind is different these days.
So Tom asked us a question like a couple hours ago. What's up? What's up, Adam?
Oh no, that we just forgot his question.
Are you good? No, we didn't. We didn't forget it. I said we'd get back to it. We didn't have a good place for it. We're doing it now. We did not forget it. Don't say that. Minefield, Star Trek Enterprise. Oh, I gotta put Minefield on the wheel. I see. I was like, why are we talking about Minefield? So let me get that on the.
More DS9 on the list, people.
Let me get that on the wheel real quick. Yeah, that would be great.
And TOS.
We're gonna have to start artificially stacking the wheel, I think.
TOS episode, jeez.
Oh, I already did get Minefield there. That's right. That's right. I remember this now. It's been 2 hours. I remember this now. What does journalism look like in Star Trek? I love your channel and Star Trek Club. Well, we get that answer in DS9. We know exactly what journalism looks like.
Yeah.
Or at least some things about what journalism looks like. Between DS9 and like Generations, where apparently they just have the exact same kind of televised journalism we do now, which feels cartoony to me. Like that felt like almost a joke. I didn't love
the
Generations
way that was
handled.
They definitely felt a little cartoony. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and don't forget the cable news channel and Star Trek Picard.
Well, yes, but no, I will forget that. No, we're talking about Star Trek. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so they basically just have newspapers like they did in the 90s, except they're digital. I mean, I don't know how they get them. I don't know how they read them. I guess just on pads.
Kind of like how we have it now. You know, it's the internet or whatever.
Well, I guess except they have a pad for everything.
It's the interpads.
Yeah,
true.
I guess you just download it to a pad and read it. But they're still. You know, they're still talking about the same kind of, integrity in journalism that you kind of, expect to have, but have to question whether or not they really have it.
I carry my isolinear chip everywhere I go.
There's that idea that there may still be a little bit of like spin and stuff, but that because it's a utopia, we're supposedly a utopia, that they're better about it than we are now.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard to really speculate too much and make that interesting because we have kind of seen journalism.
We're just never given the perspective of a journalist character, really, beyond Jake, who is kind of an apprentice journalist.
That's true. We never see like a lot of straight up journalists.
He is
this cartoony journalist from Generations.
Because that's a thing that I know you and I have been comparing this a lot, but that's the thing we actually deal with a lot in BAB 5.
Yes, BAB 5, the media environment in BAB 5 is exactly the same as the 90s, just in the future. They still read like paper newspapers and watch cable news, and
there's a lot of bias, and it's a lot of people at the top paying off certain companies.
Like to the point of parody that ISN.
Yes, it is. But they're doing that for the sake of social commentary. We got another super chat from Busted Sim. Thanks a lot for that. $2 super chat. Asked us to put Balance of Terror on the wheel. So another.
Thank you. TOS now.
But another like major top 10 episode.
One. Yes, we need get like. I can't even think of a weird one. Like we don't want like Omega Glory.
The Empath.
The Empath. The one where Quark slows down. What is that one called? Wink. So Blink of an Eye is Voyager, right? Mm-hmm. And Wink of an Eye is TOS. That's right. Okay.
Cinematographic, you may have answered this before, but between Khan Noonien Singh and Khan Harrison, who would be the first to be assimilated by the Borg?
That'd be Khan Edison.
No. Well, I would say it would depend on how many other. What is that joke?
It's a technology joke. Your technological.
Con Edison is an an electrical company in New York City. I don't know why Brandon brought it up.
Oh,
I was making a joke.
Hilarious. Anyway, Brandon, but I think the answer would be it would depend on how many other human beings either of those characters were around, because the Borg are supposed to assimilate like species and not individuals. I mean, they do sometimes just straight up assimilate individuals because we like to forget about that, or we didn't make that rule yet. But I would think that they would probably want the one that would give them the most like technological prowess, which I guess would probably be the second one, because he's kind of just a straight up genetically engineered guy instead of the way Khan was in TOS. So I guess his generic advancements would make him more appealing to the Borg. I guess is the way I have to answer that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 second. Those were the two I saw. Oh, you know what? Somebody else asked. Oh, wait a minute. Solar Dragon, hey Cap, who do you think is the best first officer in Star Trek? I mean, I think it's Riker if you don't want to just go to Spock, like, because Spock's just like the obvious choice, but
right.
It's Commander Shelby.
Yeah. In that like one episode, we get to see her as a first officer in a crisis situation.
Yep.
I guess Kira's technically first officer too.
That's true. Okay, that makes it harder.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot harder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She also has to go through some, like, you know, rougher situations and ongoing rougher situations. Somebody else, I'm not seeing who it was, somebody else asked if we think that Voyager is a better or worse show than DS9. And I have to say, of course,
DS9.
and I have to say, of course, that it's the worst show of those two.
Even with what limited I've seen, I agree with that.
Adam
statement.
just doesn't even want to designate that with a response.
We're going to talk about that.
All right, everybody, make sure that you are on episode 17 of season 1 of TNG. It's a home soil.
I need to bring that up.
Cursor,
finally knocking out some first season.
But at least it's not my least favorite episode.
Yeah, that's good. Although my least favorite episode is on the wheel right now.
Well, I guess Code of Honor's on there. I keep forgetting about that. But
what is your least favorite? You can't say Justice is worse than Code of Honor. No,
really
I would watch Justice 5 times versus Code of Honor 1 time.
Oh, Code of Honor.
And it sucks, but it's not the same sort. It's not the same brand of suckage.
No. Just it's not offensive like Code of Honor is.
The Alchemist says Rebecca Romaine is a good number 1, and then says, "Oh, I forgot real Star Trek." All right, here we go, everybody. We are at timestamp 0, hopefully, on season 1, episode 17 of TNG. I haven't seen this in forever. This is going to be one of those that will feel like kind of a blind commentary for me, because I don't remember everything that happens in it. I think this is actually the first episode in Club that we've done so far where I'm not going to have as much to say knowing what happens.
This is the one where
so
I know that
Brandon.
There's a scene in there that Brandon probably likes, where
what's that supposed to
mean? Going like this.
That's a great
the
scene.
Laser blast or whatever.
No, that's a fine scene.
Oh, I remember that part. Yeah, but I forgot it was here. All right, here we go. Everybody, please press play. This isn't the one with the gateway, is it?
No.
No, this is the one with the
sand, the sentient sand.
Blinky lights.
I've probably seen this like twice, if not just once. I'm realizing. All right, here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. It's time for another episode of It Will Look Like Cap Does Not Know Star Trek.
The Pleiades cluster.
I feel like that should be mapped by now.
Stephen Murphy says the actors are practically asking for Code of Honor to be banned at this point. They're constantly talking about how bad it is. Yeah, see? And they don't say that about Justice.
That's true. That is true.
Troy, your stupid, like, DC superhero belt thing from the 70s is not working.
Like
they haven't got the sound right on the stage yet at this point.
No, they have not. That's a great point, Brandon. It's like they've got a microphone in the floor.
Yeah, and it's echoey. It's like you can tell it's a sound stage.
Yes, it's very echoey.
Very sound stage.
It sounds like the stage sounds like it's made of wood.
Yeah, it's really
Come
bad.
in, please, over.
And you're right; they're just not. They're just not shooting it the same way. I mean, they're just not recording it right because it's not like they suddenly make a new set later made out of some other material. So
They
like,
do change those seats.
With lighting too,
yeah, no, they changed a
Weird.
lot of stuff about the set, but what I'm saying is the acoustics
No,
wouldn't be changed that much,
yeah.
Adam.
They mic'd it.
No,
wrong.
I know. I'm just saying it's the same thing with the lighting. It looks way different later, and they didn't do anything different. They just changed the lighting, just like the sound needed to be changed too.
It's low budget Ed Asner.
I've seen this guy before, and I can't remember his name. This actor.
Thanks, Troy. That's very helpful.
I know.
Look at what she's wearing in her hair.
He played like the reoccurring Russian guy in the Roger Moore era James Bond movies.
So,
That's extremely specific.
Brandon, I think she is secretly actually wearing Christmas lights, and then there's a button you could push that would make those
That's
flash.
gonna light up. That'd be cool.
It's a
Busted-
Betazoid
I don't understand why-
thing.
Busted
they should've
Sim
had her
just-
wear the
Busted Sim just
skirts.
added a piece of the action to the list.
Ah. Yeah, they should have just had her wear the mini skirt thing that she was wearing in Farpoint, as opposed to what she's wearing right now.
I think so too. Yeah, and I don't love that either. I mean, I wish it was just
I don't
a
like
regular...
it either, but it's better than this.
Yeah, it's the one thing I agree with Jellicoe about.
Yes.
Well, I guess I don't totally disagree with Jellicoe about the 4-round rotation either, but you shouldn't suddenly have to do that, like, right in the middle of a mission when the brand new captain just came on and have to like, implement it in, like, 24 hours. But I don't think he's necessarily wrong about the 4-shift rotation.
Right.
Stephen Murphy calls Troy's hair Padme Amidala hair.
He calms down pretty quick.
Yeah, and those consoles go
They
out like that,
swing
and then they
forward.
never show it again after like the first season.
Yeah, and they walked right through him. They all walked through the console
Yeah,
area.
they walk through
Okay,
the hole
so
made
this-
by the console.
Yeah, that dolly move seemed like a good idea until everybody started walking in front of Picard, and then I was like, stop
Then
doing
you're, like,
it.
looking at their
Especially
waist.
watching it big,
Their
it
waistband.
got hard to look at, where I was like, I'm focused on Picard's face, and people keep taking my eyes out of focus because they keep walking in front of the frame. That's weird. Busted Sim Jellicoe. Good ideas, bad timing. I don't know why we're suddenly talking about Jellicoe. This is what I'm going to probably end up doing. I'll just talk about episodes I do
Talk
know
about
something
other
about.
better episodes.
And just ones that I know. Because, I mean, like, I have vague recollections of those.
This episode, yeah, it's just really like it's not even a bad episode, or like a really bad episode. It's just completely
Throwaway.
forgettable. episode.
Forgettable, yeah. Because I remember everybody quoting Ugly Bags Mostly Water. We made fun of that in Star
That's
Trek
the
Club all the
only
time.
thing that memorable from this episode.
It's the only rememberable thing. Adam.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Brandon, bets on what will make Adam jump out of his chair in the next 45 minutes.
In the next 45 minutes, the
So I talked to
squirrels cause the dogs to
I talked
start
Stephanie,
barking again.
That could happen? You think in the dark, though?
Maybe.
It's night? Like,
Maybe.
See, I don't know if that's likely.
Okay,
Something
the
to
hawk
do
comes back
with-
and just smacks right into the glass this time.
I talked to Stephanie, and she saw it, and she thinks it was a hawk.
Oh, wow. So it
Yeah.
really is the birds at your house.
I thought it might be going after some of these rodents, like the chipmunk or whatever that was running around
A
outside.
couple of months ago, I watched a hawk land in my backyard, pick up a squirrel, take it to the other side of the yard, and break it in half.
Ew, gross.
Yep, and then it flew away with it.
Well, that would have made you get up out of Star Trek Club.
I wish
Yeah.
that I had that on video because it was very nature documentary.
No, I don't want to see that. What the heck's
Oh, look
wrong
at that!
with you?
Look at
That is
that matte painting.
Not
That
look
looked
great.
not very great.
No, that was a bad matte painting.
Did you notice how, Adam, you and I tried to go diplomatic in exactly the same way? Did you
look.
just come out of a Indiana Jones picture?
These are TOS
Yeah, what's
era
her
like
outfit?
console looking things.
All
with
these people's
buttons.
outfit is weird.
Yeah, TOS, but then mixed with like the 1950s.
It's like
Yeah.
even 60s like
Yes, it looks
yeah.
like like a Buck Rogers outfit or
It
something.
totally does.
And that giant radar screen that they just walked
You see how
past?
excited Tasha Yar is to be off the ship? She's got this expression like, I got to leave!
I'm pretty sure
I'm
a
on
lot
an
of these
away
props and
mission!
stuff are just left over from Star Trek 2, like the regular One Laboratory.
I bet so. These outfits are decisively not Star Trek.
No. The ball,
Or the mullet.
the globe, is cool. I remember this because it's like a hologram kind of a thing, or like a screen where
Is
like
that
they
one of
can
those
enlarge
props that they reused
portions
like
on it.
6,000 times? I don't usually comment on things like this, but I can't help it because I noticed it. Riker, regardless, despite how high up his tunic goes, still has a little bit of chest hair coming out, and I don't know how that's possible when it's like imagine that it goes to here, and he's still got chest hair. That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, that was my point.
I think it's probably one of those things we didn't notice before the remaster. Oh, it's like a screen. Okay, it's not as cool as I thought. Never mind.
That's not so neat.
That's like the Fisher-Price globe I had when I was a kid. And you'd like move it around to like these little white dots on it, and you put your eye in the scope, and it would have like little scenes from that part of the world.
Brandon, this being like 1988, they feel like they gotta come out and spend a lot of time explaining to you what terraforming is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Keep in mind we had the Genesis device.
Yeah, we already did that.
And 4 years before this.
Yeah.
Or 6 years before this. Yeah.
Like we've seen this on a grander scale. It makes you feel young again.
Makes you feel young.
You know, it really feels like she's like, in this corner of the room, we do this part of the terraforming. And then in this corner of the room, like, this blocking is really funny. She just walks all over this room.
She looks like she's a realtor.
Look, that looks like an atomic
clock. Or taking us
around. Showing this place off.
Yeah, or we're at,
That's like an atomic clock behind him.
That does look like an atomic clock.
Yeah.
Okay, that thing's crazy.
I want this set, honestly.
You like every piece of it, or because
I would
part of this
totally
set you could just pick an arrow.
Yeah.
But no, it seems like we're at a museum. She's like a curator. She's like walking around telling us where all the things are in the museum.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
She's like the whale lady in Star Trek 4.
No, Mr. Roboto, the Sela thing never did quite get resolved. I mean, she gets caught in unification, and I don't know if she got.
But she doesn't really get even like. I mean, like.
I don't think the Federation get their hands on her. Like,
but then they never mention her ever again.
It's a lot like she's still it's a lot like Lore and Brothers. She just disappears, and then like Lore actually comes back, but she doesn't.
She doesn't. They just never mention her again. Apparently, she lost her standing in the Romulan Empire. I guess I don't know.
It is rougher watching an episode this early after watching one so late, because
I know. Even like the lighting is so
like I said,
odd.
it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like this era of Star Trek. It feels like they're finding their footing, trying to figure out what their Star Trek's going to be. So you see how like oddly TOS, but not this feels. Where it's
it seems like a very 80s drama, you know?
It does, but it's like they're trying to be Star Trek. You know what I mean?
That is good.
Well, yeah, because Okuda was consistently good. Edward, we're watching Home Soil for some reason. Season 1, episode 17.
Who put that on the board?
Our timestamp is around 9:30. Okay, but we have also been asking for stuff like this to get it knocked out. So it's not fair to make fun of that person, and we're all doing it. It's not fair. Brandon, are they just leaning on a file cabinet?
Pretty much. Yeah, okay. Pretty much. You know.
They've been talking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's been a lot of exposition here.
She's
this scene is
something
way too long. Also, why is Geordi on this away mission? Because Geordi's not an engineer yet. Geordi's flying the ship. What is he doing here?
These buttons that don't do anything aren't doing anything.
Yeah. Did you see him move when he was pressing them, Brandon?
Yeah.
Like the whole
set was moving.
Like it was just stuck on there with adhesive.
So I liked the way they decided to shoot that. Where like
that looks good.
No. Here's what I mean. Where like they get to see what it is, and then there's a lot of suspense, and then we see what it is. But then when we see what it is like. I mean, that's about what I expected. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
blown away by that or anything.
No.
Like,
yeah.
There it is again.
Maybe a different angle or something. I don't know.
It's like, I think that's like a model.
I don't know. It's
I don't know what it is.
Best.
The Alchemist says, LMAO, we got to watch it all. Brutal. Oh yeah, we're gonna watch everything. As long as we're doing this show, we're gonna do as much of it as we can. Till we get to a place where nobody cares.
Probably hopeless.
Or the three of us go, you know what, we just can't take it anymore. But I did a Star Trek club for 15 years, so don't hold your breath that that'll happen.
No.
I don't know what this means, but maybe I'm just missing something. Edward Bedore, $2 super chat, says Sam Fisher, a.k.a. Michael Ironside, voices Super Spy? I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Who's Super Spy?
Yeah, I don't know. But now everyone knows about it, so we can Google it, thanks to that super chat. But I don't know what that has to do with Star Trek.
This lady has a real emotional reaction to this guy.
Yeah. Oh, Brandon, now would be a time to comment about Riker without a beard, because you're seeing him without a beard.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
He just looks so young.
I think Riker has a romance with this lady. I think that happens.
Busted Sim, my usual hot Trek take of the night. TNG season 1 got good in the back half. I think it got a lot better in the back half.
It got better. I don't think it got really, really good.
Not having...
It definitely better. It wasn't like unwatchably bad like it was in the early...
Not having any of the great stuff to compare it to later. I could have seen saying that when it was airing.
Yeah.
Certainly. But with the perspective of hindsight, with all 7 seasons, I can't say it gets, great. Like, it doesn't find its footing yet, I wouldn't say, compared to the rest of the show.
But it's not horrible.
That is where the good season 1 episodes are, is in the back half.
In the back half.
Well, this sounds like the best idea.
Yeah, there you go, Brandon. This is what you like.
Oh, Edward Bedore says he just left that super chat to throw everyone off for laughs. Okay, well, I hope you were laughing. I hope you found that amusing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Uh-oh, laser.
He's got a laser sight on him.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I remember this.
Did not move out of that laser's path fast enough.
You like that, Brandon?
No, man, he moves at laser speeds, Brandon.
Too much to explain. Data's capable of how many calculates. He should be able to tell them.
That's a good point. No, he's busy moving at 1/4 impulse, Brandon.
He should be able to tell him what's going on.
Hey, Brandon, shoot lasers at me.
He should be beaming him out.
Hey, Brandon, shoot lasers at me.
The card says it a lot. Get him out of there.
See, look how fast I'm moving. I'm getting out of all of their way.
So Picard yells for Geordi to get him out of there. They should have beamed him out of there.
Okay, Adam, I'm going to take up for the 10 minutes of exposition by saying this is all 1,000 times more exciting because that was so boring.
You gotta, yes. They had the lower expectations.
Alchemist is so right. He says, it's like that scene in Logan's Run. But says Sim, unfortunately, one of those decent episodes was Coming of Age, which references a bunch of those earlier bad episodes and informs the standout conspiracy. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, it sucks that the conspiracy ends up being a continuity episode that requires bad episodes before it, but...
Yeah.
That's okay. It's not like
this
you can't watch it on its own.
About this Drew. You really got a year to make that thing?
That's the bottom?
Like that, hanging like that.
This is hilarious.
Why did it take
And then that cut was really odd. I'm sorry, what?
Why did it take a year to make that? It
seems
pretty standard.
Well, I think they were trying different things and like building it up, and trying. It's a work in progress. It's a prototype.
Because none of them have ever built anything before. They just got a jigsaw for the first time.
You probably have to build it on
these
site
things in front of me
for the plant. I'm guessing.
How do these opposable thumbs work?
How do I move?
Director Mandel ought to be like, you show up and everything goes to hell. Like, what happened?
Yeah, and wear less stupid uniforms. Also, a lot of the writing this early was weird because we hadn't, perfected the vernacular yet.
Yes, at least they don't say bogey in this episode.
Yeah, or Parking Orbit.
Or Skipper.
Well, to be fair, TOS did Parking Orbit a couple times too, but we got away from that in the show. I'm just saying that, like, you have to have, obviously, some historical perspective, and it can be difficult not to be taken out when you're used to what the show would turn into later and the consistency of the lingo, right? Where he says, like, go for your report or something. Like, Picard doesn't talk like that at all later, and we just haven't landed on it yet. I know I bring this up a lot, like, but I think Snodgrass was really important in pulling a lot of that together.
And stuff too.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you needed a really good
it's a
really good story director
meeting,
like you got with Snodgrass later. And she's not there yet.
Right.
Interesting shot where they're
this
all in
was
it.
The whole season with that lawyer too, you know.
Yeah, it's like they're. Yeah, I remember that. It's like they're trying to make a poster right now.
Mm-hmm.
Violating SAG rules.
What's all those lights in the background, Brandon?
Power energy levels, I think.
What's going?
Isn't that where Geordi usually sits?
No, Geordi's usually flying the ship.
Flying the ship at this point.
I guess later he's.
This season we have
an engineering console.
Chief Engineer Argyle and that lady, and then some other guy, Singh or something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Roboto, that's what we were talking about with the conspiracy. He asked if we remembered the space worms taking over people. Yeah, that's conspiracy.
Do you think it's really bizarre?
That's Captain Logan to you. I'm sorry, what?
Do you think it's really bizarre that this show didn't have a chief engineer?
Well, yeah.
Right
no, it's not.
Why didn't they do it?
He just told Geordi he needed some visual assistance, which I imagine the visor picks up different things than maybe
need some
Data's
visual
eyes
assistance.
Yeah. Sandy texture.
He can see the sound.
I can see.
That's synesthesia.
That's actually pretty cool looking.
Well,
yeah, Rubador, they didn't come right out.
Expand your mind. Q's gonna have his way with you.
They didn't come right out and make a lot of those, like stations clear. He said, like, do we know for sure if Data was the science officer? I don't know if they come out this early and say that, but he does all the science officer stuff. I don't know.
Does all that analogous stuff.
But yeah, the positions aren't real clear right away.
Crusher's hair is not
all of them
yet.
Right. But
yeah, see, now we're seeing the wig.
Like, or Tasha also says sensor, coming up on our sensors and stuff.
Wesley in his rainbow sweater.
What you heard? That's a wig, according to Brandon.
What's that?
Who was the one that said that?
Somebody in the comments said that she's wearing a wig here, but I think it's pretty clear that that's the case.
It's definitely a wig.
Oh, I thought she was reaching up to high five someone.
High five. We solved it.
So they beamed
that looks like
thing
a Spencer
up.
Gifts thing.
It does. And Brandon, this also looks like they're trying to make a poster.
Yeah.
They're all standing around for a picture that nobody took. With Wesley at the center. I'm sure some Wesley Crusher fan has that screenshot as a poster in their house. Oh, busted sim.
It's a baby crystalline entity.
So $2 super chat. He says, "You want bad Shrek? Have Ferengi love songs."
Ferengi.
So now we got to put Ferengi
Which one
love
is this?
songs.
What's Ferengi love songs?
I don't remember.
Is that Grilka?
Speculation, Data.
I don't know if it is Grilka. That's a no. I don't think so.
I don't find that episode.
That's a good one. No, but no, Grilka's House of Quark.
Well, she was in 2 episodes.
Well, that's true. Was that the first one though?
It's the second one with her.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not her. What is this? Ferengi love songs. That's the episode where Quark discovers that the Negus and Moogie have fallen in love with each other.
I mean, I don't hate that. It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Ishka.
Yeah, I mean that was an odd choice and kind of just there to make Quark more important, I think.
Yes.
Well, it's more blocking to make. You could make so many posters out of this episode.
Yeah.
Brandon, you got to analyze the pattern of those flashes.
Yeah.
Analyze it. Yeah, that is not a great graphic.
No idea.
But yeah, why is it monochrome?
Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. What if Worf got engineer and Geordi got security? I mean, I just don't think they would have ever thought to do that, because I think Worf was created to be a character that wasn't, you know, the most intelligent person.
Micro brain.
I don't know.
He's a micro brain.
He's a micro brain.
Got different abilities.
And this is going to sound terrible, but I feel like in Star Trek, anybody that's competent enough could be security, because you don't do a whole lot of throwing people around, necessarily. You just need, like, stun people, and then be good at delegation. I don't know. And you could say, well, Worf's a great chief engineer, Worf's a great, chief of security, because he's huge, but as Adam likes to point out a lot, but he gets knocked on his butt all the time.
All the time.
What are you going to say, Adam?
Gets his wrist broken by Deanna.
Of all people. Anyway, what are you going to say?
I'm pretty sure it happens more than once. Don't take it. What is a weird line reading?
Sometimes it feels like they didn't make this room big enough.
Yes. It's very small.
Does it get bigger?
I don't think so.
Or do they just use a different room? Because the ready room is bigger later, isn't it?
No, I think it's the same set the whole way through.
Is it really? Do they just shoot it differently?
Might be, yeah.
Because that guy is just a big guy. He had a hard time getting in and out of that door. Like, they got to be thinking, we didn't make this room big enough. It makes me wonder if Worf ever, like, bangs his head on the top of it. Like, tall people. That's a big, tall guy. Like,
yeah.
Now Edward Bedora is seeing the Enterprise theme for some reason. Busted Sim, $5 super chat. Thanks, man. What the heck? Have Singularity, too. A low-key favorite of mine. Oh, I love Singularity. It's hilarious. That's the one where, with the obsession with building Archer's chair.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? I'm pretty sure that's Singularity.
Yeah. Get to know her, right?
Yeah, he says, I love the crew isn't themselves episodes.
See, this is the one where he romances this.
Yeah, he gets to know her. She basically sends him on
emotional breakdown over that guy getting lasered.
Lasered.
Okay, so I gotta add that too.
The comforting first officer with a cleft chin.
I think in Shades of Grey, when they have the little montage of all the women Riker romances in the first 2 seasons, she's one of those women.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
See, Brandon, I want to think that he got cast, like 90% of the reason he got cast was because of that cleft chin, and then he grows a beard for 6 seasons.
Well, what's funny about it is you can follow the little notch under his nose directly down to that it's just perfect line.
And then it's really weird when he shaves it again in Insurrection, where you're like, it doesn't look as good when you're an older guy.
No.
But he needed the beard here too. Like, I don't know, he's got a more distinct face with facial hair.
Yeah.
Right.
Do I not look distinguished? I know that's Data, but he looks distinguished.
No, he looks stupid. He's a robot with a beard.
This music's very emotional.
Because we really overdid
selections in the first couple of seasons,
especially first season, because it's like 50s sci-fi.
They use a lot of synths. Yeah, a lot of synths.
Mm-hmm. It feels like sci-fi serial material.
Yeah.
Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. Thanks, man. In Trek, they always have the ensign, but why?
Well, maybe he doesn't romance her.
Ensign's
that might be
the lowest rank after crewman, and you can have people in.
Look how the shadows.
And I guess just have somebody for younger people to identify with. I don't know.
See how badly that was lit.
So what Krisher said earlier.
Why am I looking at Jordy's face this close up?
Jordy, get back.
Back up!
What Krisher said earlier was foreshadowing. I'm noticing.
You're so close to the camera, your visor's out of focus. Get your visor out of my face.
You gotta stop down here. Get everything in focus.
You know, I may be a little bit too close to the camera, but you don't have to take my word for it.
Da-da-da.
You just missed the birth of its baby. You were all looking at the other screen.
Yeah.
Brandon,
LEDs suspended.
It turns out these are omega particles.
It looks like they went and bought some Christmas lights from the hardware store and put them in a plastic jar.
Edward says we have to have an ensign because heaven forbid we have someone rise up in the ranks and have a natural arc. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the Kim problem we've talked about a million times.
You like that force field?
And we do it in Enterprise with Sato also, but there wasn't like a great place to promote people in that show. I don't guess. Although if she's still in Ensign by the end when they jump ahead to like the 10th year, that would be dumb.
Yeah,
but I think she's
Sato's still an Ensign.
Is she? I don't think so. I think she's increased in rank by then. Now you could say everybody should have gotten a field commendation or a field promotion after the Xindi arc, but then like everybody should have been promoted.
But it's not. It's almost like
maybe she should have gotten promoted for
it's like
being
the
tortured.
opposite of what they did in the TOS movies, where by the end, by 6, everybody was like a full commander and 60 years old, yet they were all still on the same ship together and stuff.
Well, the thing is, the whole ensign thing doesn't really become a trend until Voyager, if you can even call it a trend. Like, in this, we just give Wesley that rank so that he's got a rank and can be more involved in missions. Like, it's clearly super contrived, just, the acting ensign nonsense, just to have him more involved in stuff. And then in DS9, we just do it with Nog, because that would be the rank he'd have once he went through Starfleet.
I think Chekhov was an ensign when he started, but he got promoted by the time Wrath of...
I was gonna say, and he's not called ensign all the time. They don't make a big deal out of the fact that he's. Right. I think a lot of people back then would have had a hard time even telling you what rank he was.
It's just like him and everybody outside of like, pretty much everybody, because everybody was called Mr. This,
Busted
this
Sim.
Is a massive starfield, and as he moves around,
oh my god,
you can
starfield
see
was like way more detailed in the first season than it was any place else.
They also make them blink.
That's what I'm saying. They're blinking in and out. Yeah.
When you move around, sometimes some of them get cut off and they disappear entirely.
Yeah.
It's the power of movement, Brandon. You can make a whole star disappear and reappear just by walking across the screen.
It's interference with other things in the foreground.
Busted Sim says, super chats with episode requests on this channel. Dance Trekkies dance.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we gotta get these episodes on the wheel at some point.
In the first season there too,
you guys are great though.
They have like a plastic windows there, but later on, they've like taken it out, so it's like, I guess, really good anti-glare coating or whatever, but you don't see anything like like a semblance of a window anymore.
So I will admit to not paying a great deal of attention to this episode so far, because A, I'm not super invested because the beginning of this was really boring, and B, I keep having to answer comments.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great argument. Look, we just didn't anticipate anything. This guy is really committed and doing the best job he can, but I can't put my finger on him. I just feel like he doesn't belong in this universe for some reason.
Yeah, he just seems like an odd person. He seems like a Sequest extra.
He really
like one
does.
Of the scientists from Sequest.
And that's not saying anything about the man's acting ability, because there's lots of guest stars that are, way worse than, like, this guy's not bad. He just, I can't put my finger on it. He doesn't fit in this universe.
That guy's got a mullet.
I don't think that guy does either, but it might just be his hair.
Yeah.
This guy's mullet is something else.
Brandon, do you feel like this premise is interesting in like a theoretical way, in a way that it's not in like being dramatized?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. Yes, absolutely.
I want this guy to be in Starfleet and his rank to be ensign, so he can be Ensign Benson.
Sounds like a sitcom. Ensign Benson.
Well, Benson was a sitcom.
There
right?
was a sitcom called Benson, Robert Guillaume.
Yeah.
And Rene Auberginois.
Rene Auberginois. But he's not Ensign Benson. Well,
It was a spinoff of Soap.
Well, those just look like power coins from Power Rangers if you only morphed into dragonflies.
They've evolved.
Oh, the power coins evolved?
Yes.
Yeah, that's because you're not a scientist, Worf. No one's surprised you don't understand the patterns. It's the best. Worf just looks right into the screen and goes, I do not understand the patterns. Yeah. No one's surprised.
This is really weird how they're doing this right here.
Yeah,
Alchemist says so much exposition.
Look at that, Jay.
Yeah.
That was a conductor.
Oh my god, he's looking almost directly at the camera. Good job, Worf. You knew something.
Because I wasn't asking you to the computer.
Who is this woman?
Who is this?
Can we just make a checklist of people who do not belong in Star
She's
Trek?
just ensign. Who is that person?
How can you be
Look how
59
detailed
years
those
old and an
screens
ensign?
are.
Is this a second career for this woman? Like,
They changed those screens out on the bridge
She
at
looks
some
like
point.
a character from the Golden Girls.
I'm sorry, did I say 59? I
Yeah.
meant 69. Like,
She's the fifth golden girl.
and I don't mean to be all ageist or
There's
whatever, but
another
how's she an ensign? I'm not saying anything about this woman if she's a lieutenant, but how's she an ensign? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, I am saying something about her. She doesn't look like she belongs in Star Trek, and she's trying really hard to get me to notice her in the scene.
She looks like an 80s
And she doesn't have to work
mom
at that,
sitcom.
because
We've
look at that
never
wig.
seen that screen ever do anything like that.
No,
No.
never. This is the only
And
time.
we never
It's
will
a
again.
Blank screen or monitor, but just to cut away the ship.
Yeah,
Which is funny
there's
because in
reason-
modern-
look at that whole console there.
In New Trek, we kind of like to act like it's more futuristic or just new to have like overlaid screens on stuff, which is the thing I actually like, where you have a view screen and you can see space in the background, and then if somebody hails you, you get their face, but it's like a overlaid thing where it doesn't take up the whole screen. We're doing it in season 1 in engineering,
Right.
and nowhere else ever again, as far as I'm
They
aware.
just ran off that turbo lift. Or is that the turbo
Oh,
lift or a
here's the
holodeck?
bags of
Mostly
mostly
giant
water.
bags of mostly water.
Which is, by the way, also a very, very TOS sort of thing.
Yes.
This whole
A
premise
donut.
feels TOS-y to me. Hey, Brian, are you being offended if I start just referring to you as Life Force?
No, I'm pretty.
Well, you know,
badass
Patrick
Life Force.
Stewart was in a movie called Life Force. And
Hey,
it's
Life
scary.
Force! Are you coming over this afternoon?
Indeed.
With space vampires.
You should change your Facebook to Life Force.
Life Force. Dude, that.
How many Quatloos are they betting on things is what I want to know.
Why you always look like you're about to cry?
Busta Sim says, I hate that the view screen is an actual window in New Trek, as if the bridge wasn't a big enough bullseye target already. Yeah, I forgot that that's why it was supposed to be a window.
Yeah.
And that's dumb. But it's almost not much dumber than Nemesis, because, like, yeah, it's on a window, but you can still shoot through the view screen, and then people can get sucked out of it, like it's the front of the ship. I didn't think that was supposed to be right at the front like that.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong about where it's supposed to be located?
There's a dome on the top, which never made a lot of sense. It's like a really easy target, you know?
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. But is the E still like that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't blame Nemesis for that. I can blame Nemesis for calling attention to it.
You gotta blame Matt Jeffries for that.
Darn you, Matt Jeffries!
Yeah.
We're going to retract the Jeffers tubes being called Jeffries tubes.
They're basically transistors.
Data looks too scared for being a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks horrified.
They can't console like
Ah!
this.
Like, that was horrified Data. Oh, I'm sorry, Life Force.
Life Force.
I think that's a Genesis game. Some video game. There's a video game called Life Force.
The wires for those lights just a second ago.
Yeah. Who's that random blue shirt in the background? Did you see that guy? He was just like, he looked like really intently angry about something. He was just like, I don't like just being an extra. I'm also upset about the ensign thing.
I'm serious regular material. At least a reoccurring character.
Oh, that's right. Thanks, Rockman. I can always count on Rockman to help me out with the video game references. Life Force was on NES. That's right.
That's way
It was
too
a
close.
space shooter.
That's a TOS camera angle. Back up.
We've been doing that this whole time.
I know.
Again, I think I'm hating the directing in this a lot more because I just watched a really great directed episode.
Right.
You don't want to watch this right after Frame of Mind. What are we doing?
Right.
We're doing Star Trek Club, apparently.
This episode makes me feel like I'm going out of my mind and I'm experiencing perhaps not an actual real reality. It makes me look like this. It makes me feel like this.
Beam it back to
Is it because I'm too close to the screen?
Yeah, it makes me feel like that. See, look, Crosby's not as happy anymore because she has to be on the bridge again.
Oh, there's Picard's theme.
Look how grainy that is.
That we sometimes get.
Oh, yeah, good call. My name is Captain Picard.
There's a really good. The best use of that is in yesterday's Enterprise, right before he jumps over the rail.
Is that true, Alchemist? I knew there was a movie called Life Force, but I didn't know Patrick Stewart was in it.
Yes, he was in it.
That's
it's a
funny.
terrible movie.
Should we watch it?
It's really bad.
Should we watch some bad movies in Star Trek Club starring Star Trek people?
R, let's just say that.
That would make more sense than Spaceballs, granted.
Yeah.
You know what we should watch in Star Trek
A lady
Club?
There's a lady I think that walks around with no clothes on for like.
We should watch
at
Safe
least
House.
half the movie.
We should make everyone watch Safe House.
That'd be hilarious.
Safe House.
I want to do it so bad. I've done that in
Not the one with Ryan Reynolds.
No. Is the one where Patrick Stewart screams at
movie
bugs for killing his
with
lilies?
Patrick Stewart and the lady that was in the Father of the Bride movies with Steve Martin that was getting married.
Yes.
The Bride.
Right.
In Father of the
Thank you,
Bride.
Fred.
One of the title characters of the film. She played the
It
bride.
was just weird how you described that. You know, the woman getting married in Father of the Bride.
I'm with, you mean the bride, right? So Steve Martin would have been the father, and the chick from Safe House would have been the bride.
Keep calling this thing microbrain. Isn't that what Q calls war?
Yes,
That's
he
why I
does.
called it. That's why I
Microbrain.
said that. Yeah.
Buzzes Sim says, if we're expanding Trek Club episode picks, I nominate Futuramas where no fan has gone before. We can do that at some point. I'm not going to start putting other non-Star Trek things on the wheel yet.
We've got a lot to get through.
Yeah, but we might occasionally do a special, and I might take some requests outside of Super Chats and just post a Facebook message and get a lot of ideas and take the best ones.
Let's do this with Star Trek. Stuff's really, really bright.
Yes,
Oh, look,
that's right.
It's generating into Superman crystals.
Right.
Yeah. Krypton.
Yeah, you could take that on the holodeck, and then Jarrell shows up. Edward Bedore, $5 super chat. Did you see the new music video on Robert Picardo's YouTube channel? It's amazing, and I love it. No, I haven't, but we'll make sure and check that out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but he's like singing about how he's not Brent Spiner.
I can't believe we use microbrain as often as we use microbrain.
And Data, you're acting like lore back there right now. You better calm down.
Yeah, he's going a little too far. I love Spiner, but I will say, and I don't know how much of this is his fault and how much of it is just directing or like certain producers wanting him to go as over the top as he's going, but like it takes him an odd amount of time to find Data consistently.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? You're saying?
Oh, I was about to speculate, and then they speculated in the episode that it was the lasers itself that, caused the life form to evolve.
Yeah, Corey Allen directed a lot. Farpoint, Final Mission, The Game, Journey's End. So, I mean, nothing great. Final Mission's okay, but it's not a great directed episode.
Yeah.
And then DS9, Captive Pursuit, The Circle's great. Maybe he got a lot better. Paradise and the Maquis Part 2. Okay, so he did direct some good episodes.
Part 2, that's a good action-heavy episode.
He's basically torturing it right now. Like, for real.
To wet sand.
This feels like, in an odd way, like Devil in the Dark not done as well to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sounds like...
Or at least the end of this.
The voice of this character sounds like, like a 60s character.
Kill I.
Also,
we really need a Vulcan
like
to... We really need a Vulcan to somehow
mind
mind
the
meld
outer
right
limits,
now.
the 60s
sounds like the Binars, too.
The way it talks.
Well, but it's just generic robot speak, Brandon. Like, that's why the Binars sound like that, too.
Yeah.
The Binars. Brandon loves the Binars.
They're okay, but not my fave.
Why are we focusing on you, Wesley Crusher? What do you have to do with anything right now? We just keep throwing him in scenes. Like, what does he have to do with anything? Has he contributed one idea or anything in this episode?
He was down there with the rest of them for some reason.
I mean, I've been talking a lot through this, so I might have missed something. But
again, with the
he was down there when you
scene.
said they were all posing for.
You know what we should
poster.
do? We should make like a scrapbook for just this episode,
Yes,
and just
blocking.
print a bunch of and
the close-up shots of people's heads.
But he was in there. He was in that poster.
That's a lot of why this episode is so unmemorable, Brandon. The whole thing is just a calendar. It's just a monthly calendar.
Home soil.
We should make the home soil calendar. I'm sorry, what Adam?
Terrible.
I said they were trying to get two birds with one stone. They were trying to get all their publicity photos done for the season and shoot an episode at the exact same time.
But that's weird. Why would you do all the publicity episodes 17 in?
We've got to keep going.
Out of 26.
We got to redo them. Tasha's leaving.
Well, that's unfortunate. We didn't think to do them until 17, and then we get rid of her immediately thereafter. Like, how soon after is Skin of Evil?
It's like 4 more episodes. I looked.
No, it's like 5 more, because I forgot it was that late in the season. It's 4 before the end.
Really
That's
late.
crazy. I always think of it as halfway through, but it's not.
Yeah.
I think Troy should be fired for not being able to pick up on everything that was going on with his life force.
Life force.
See, it's easy to remember that term because it's the name of one of my best friends. Life force.
You're really running with that.
Valara 3. I need something to fill time with. I don't know this episode.
They're returning to Starbase.
Oh,
Not
the lesson!
Wow.
The lesson
Any
we have
Starbase.
learned from this near tragedy. Dude died.
It was almost a tragedy, but it was fine. We don't really care about that guy. And like
Except that woman
he's giving
cared
us a
about him,
captain's
apparently.
log. That was so awkward. He's giving us a captain's log as the ship is flying away, and we're getting the credits like all at the same time. He's like, "You're rushing the crap out of that, but you have these exposition scenes that go on for 19 minutes that could have been 5."
Right.
That could have been a 30-minute episode.
So you guys, we have already stopped watching Home Soil, and because I haven't been looking at that for the last 5 seconds, I don't remember it at all. It has already left my brain. I remember nothing about this episode.
Sentient sand. Sentient silicone.
I forgot about all of that. That's right. What is that? It's Home Soil, right? Okay. Anyway, so
basically baby crystalline entities, I feel like.
Kind of, yeah. So we're gonna. Oh man, we don't want those to get any bigger. Don't give them any grain. Maybe they're like tribbles that are like.
And that lady will.
Silicon tribbles.
Yes, the mother of the sun.
Yeah, Remy. Remy, can I
So
talk to
goodness,
Remy?
you know that.
Remy?
So we now move
Are you in there,
on
Remy?
to rating the episodes. So we watched Frame of Mind, and we watched. Hold on. Home Soil. That's what it was.
I keep wanting to call it Home Fries. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
That's a.
Does that sound like a thing I would watch?
Yeah, it's
Home
comedy.
fries.
That doesn't sound like a thing I would watch. So I didn't think to watch that. No. Have you ever seen Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
Yes.
See, that sounds like a thing you would watch. I, however, have not seen that because I would have never thought to see that. You ever seen Good Burger?
No, actually.
Okay, I actually have seen that.
Good Burger.
Okay, so anyway,
I know Good Burger, but I've never seen Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger.
Brandon, do you want to go first?
Can I take your order, please?
You want to go first?
Sure.
Brandon's going to rate the episodes. 0 to 4. If you've never watched this with it or watched this, if you've never watched Home Soil with us, you haven't, because we just did that for the first and hopefully only time.
Actually, somebody's probably about to show up and say, "Hey, where are you in the episode?" And we're done.
That happens a lot, yeah. Star Trek Club, 0 to 4 rating for episode 0 is the worst thing you've ever seen. 4 is glorious, and anything 0.5s in between are good. 2.5, 3.5, I'm just nearly
Or
hitting
whatever
Brandon. Sorry,
you want
buddy.
to do.
Okay, Brandon, you want to go first?
Yes, for the first episode, I actually really like that Frakes episode, and I'm going to give it 3.5.
3.5 for Frosted Frakes.
Yeah, Frosted Frakes, yeah. No, I enjoyed that episode more than I thought I was going to, actually.
We got to do up a T-shirt or something for Frosted Frakes. I love it
hilarious,
so much. Yeah, anyway, sorry, good.
I kind of really
Tony
enjoyed
the Tiger.
just doing... There's got to be a scene of, like, Riker on set, like, doing that or something.
They're great!
Great!
And then for this one...
Do you even remember it?
What was it? It was Home Fries.
Home Fries?
Home fries.
I'm going to give this one, because I usually don't... My rating scale. I'm going to give it a 2... It has an interesting premise.
Question mark?
I'm going to give it a 2.5, actually. It has an interesting premise. Its first season, you know, this is an example of, I think, why, you know, Patrick Stewart thought the show wasn't going to last very long. So, like, famously, you know, he didn't impact during season 1, you know, because of stuff like this. The premise was cool, but the execution...
Busted Sim just wrote, "Hey, where are we in the episode?" Because he's just messing with Brandon.
That's funny. So, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5.
Okay. Adam, where do you sit, sir?
Well, I feel like that was on my top 10 list, so I probably should give it a 4.
Sure.
The
Home Fries.
Frame of mind.
No, Frame of Mind. Frakes of Mind.
Frame of Home Fries.
Frakes of mind.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Frakes of Mind.
Now, as for Home Soil, because there are worse episodes in season 1, so I feel like I'll give it a 1.5, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just because there are worse episodes, but it is not good by any measure.
It's ultra padded, right? Like, there's not 45
it's
minutes
just
of
very
material
boring.
there. There's fun to be
Let's
had.
make our own cut.
We get to watch Data. There's a lot of that in TNG too, where you could do like a 20-minute cut and lose very little. But to be fair, TOS had some of those too. But like the Data dodging lasers thing is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon's right. He should have gotten shot
that.
15 times.
He
but...
destroyed that laser. It's just hanging there.
Yeah, that was awesome. All the money for that episode went into that shot. It's like
a year's worth of work.
Destroyed. Minute and a half. That's where all the budget went. It certainly didn't go to those guest stars. I mean, they weren't
and
terrible,
that console. So it was interesting to see like TOS era type blinking light consoles in that area.
Yeah, like I said, they just reused the movie stuff they had left over from like Star Trek 2.
Well, maybe they may have even pulled out of other storage sites on
like
Paramount.
Early movies.
That's possible too.
You know,
but he's right. A lot of the consoles and things look like they had to have come out of Motion Picture and Rathacon.
Yeah.
Frame of Mind for me, I guess, is sitting somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5. I guess I go to 3.5. I mean, there's not a lot to complain about with Frame of Mind. You know what I mean? Like, It's entertaining. It doesn't do anything wrong. Like, it's good. I don't love it as much as my wife does, but I love Frakes. So yeah, I guess 3.5. Like, I'm not passionate about that episode, but it's solid Star Trek. Home Soil, I have completely forgotten already. I don't remember
how funny would it have been if the Genesis device had been sitting in that control room?
That
would have been hilarious.
While they're talking about terraforming,
just in the background,
this is what terraforming is, and then somebody just goes, "Oh, she's got Genesis." Okay, 1.5 for Home Soil.
Okay,
it's a pretty typical season 1 episode. There are way worse episodes, but there are certainly a couple of much better episodes. I can't. So I'm saying like it's middle of the road for season 1, but it's below par for TNG. So I feel like I have to go 1.5. We're not just rating based on the season. So I feel like I got to do that. Let's see what some of the folks in the comments say, and if you haven't rated yet, but you watched both of these with us, feel free to give us a rating and an explanation if you wanna.
Do it. Do it.
Let's see. We've got Busted Sim gives Frame of Mind a 4 and Home Soil a 2.5. Edward Bedore says, from what I remember, Frame of Mind is a 2.5 out of 4. From what I saw, the back half of Home Soil is a 1.5 out of 4. And then Tom says 3 and 2.5. Oh, no, and 2.5 up to 3 because Ugly Bags of Mostly Water is my favorite quote. So something gets a 3 for having a memorable quote. The Alchemist... Hold on, it just moved on me.
Which I find it funny that seems to propagate through any iteration of Star Trek Club where one thing can like propel that just to the next level.
There's always somebody that feels the need to do that. Alchemist Frame of Mind is a 2.75 and Home Soil is a 1. So he wasn't crazy about either of these. Jason gave them both a 3. He says, I like both episodes. I guess he liked Home Soil. Jason likes season 1, though, and he's been through that season before. He says, I like both both episodes pretty good. Riker is crazy. And then what the heck is the dirt thing?
What the heck? It's a life form. It's a silicone-based life form. Which, when they do encounter the crystalline entity...
No, it's not. It's a life force.
A life force.
Yeah. Life force.
When they encounter the crystalline entity, should they not remember that they'd encountered silicone-based life force before? It should be a callback.
Yeah, because I guess they have at this point.
I don't know when data lore happens. When does that? Has that already happened yet or not?
Oh, then they should remember the crystalline entity at that point.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
So... one or the other, they should remember that they've seen silicone-based life form before. So
where was another silicone-based life form, though?
Well, the crystalline entity.
Crystalline entity.
Right, no, I know. But I thought you were talking about something else.
This entity is also silicone-based.
Okay, right.
They make mention of it in the episode.
But what do you mean when you say one or the other?
Mean, they would have known
which
about
other
the
one came
also,
first, which I don't remember which one came first.
Yeah. But that's what we were saying. I'm pretty sure Data Lore's before this.
So if Data Lore's before this,
when
Crusher is speculating about whether this could be life, they've seen inorganic life before because silicone is inorganic. So she shouldn't be so surprised.
Right, and they all should know about the Horda also because that's already well documented probably.
I mean, Busted Sim, if you're talking about Jason and saying that it's weird that he gave Take Me Out of the Holosuite a lower rating than these, just remember, I mean, the kid's 10. Busted Sim, the dirt life force is better than the Proto-Universe episode in Deep Space Nine. I mean, that's fair. That was weird.
The Proto-Universe episode?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when the little thing...
That's not good.
I think this is worse than that.
Ideal-wise, I think the Proto-Universe is dumber, but...
It's bizarre.
Well, anyway.
But... Life Force, I don't want to get your hopes up because Patrick Stewart's in that movie for like one scene.
Oh, well then we won't watch it in the club, of course. Yeah. But we may watch Safe House. Anyway, if you guys have anybody that's ever seen that, you have to. So I have shown that to every iteration that I've done of Star Trek Club. I did it in my high school club. I did it in my other club. We got to do it here at some point.
You let me loan it. You loaned it to me to watch at home.
You still have it?
No, I did.
Oh, I thought you meant you still had it.
No, back in the day, I watched it and gave it back to you.
We that would also be a good After Dark pick as well. So yeah, we'll kick that around. We may do it here. We may do it on After Dark. I don't know yet. Anyway, well, folks, thanks a lot for being here. I hope you had a good time. We certainly did. We will see you again next week, probably, question mark. I'm going to be out of town a little bit in the next couple weeks. So I think I'll be I think I'll be in town for the meeting next week, but I may not be the week after. So in a couple weeks we may not have a meeting, but I'm pretty sure we will next week. But I'll let you guys know if anything changes. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. Thanks for helping me get the wheel caught up, and thanks for adding stuff to the wheel if you did that. That was super cool of everybody who did that this evening. We sure appreciate it, and we've got a good mix of stuff right now. We could use some more TOS and DS9, especially DS9, but we have a little bit more variation now, so that's good. And anyway, we'll see you again next week. I'm Captain Logan, and that was Life Force. Brandon Grimm and Adam Meredith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later on.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. Wait. What are we? Are we Dude Bro Aquaman? Yeah.